Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. All right, y'all. Salvation not only for Israelites. Prove us wrong. Live debates. Y'all know what time it is. We getting it in. All right, so we got Hassad in the building. Let me go ahead and put this. Let me put this link in the chat. All right. Fresh link in the chat. Boom. My apologies, y'all. All praise to Mo. He turned it down. Okay, let's see. All right, y'all. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm gonna give my camera working in just a second. All right, there we go. We got our brother.
Mic check. How we sounding?
Mic check. You're good. You're good. Let me make sure we're live. We are on pre-Genesis mode. We are on pre-Genesis mode as well at the same time. So I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna post this. Join panel.
Yeah, we're about to put a link in the chat. So if anybody got any disagreements or questions, y'all are more than welcome to hit the link, join the stream, and we can definitely chop this up. There are a couple verses in particular that we want to discuss. So whenever Priest is done putting all that together on his ends, we can put some scriptures on the screen, and y'all can follow along. And I want to make sure that even if y'all don't join the stream, if you got questions in the chat, you can ask your questions in the chat. Make sure you like and share the video, and make sure you engage, comment, etc. Because we're going to be posing some questions, and we want to make sure that everyone is following along and is understanding and ascertaining the information that's being presented.
Okay, so we have a small problem. I got to go over to pre-Genesis mode and put the link up over there. So just give me 1 second.
That's fine. So the main scripture we're going to be discussing tonight, and it's not limited to it, is Romans the 11th chapter.
We want smoke on Romans 11.
Yeah. Because Romans 11 is very clear when you read it in its context, and you don't just isolate verses. If you just read Romans 11 from 1 all the way to the end, it's overwhelmingly clear that what Paul is saying is Gentiles, non-Israelites can receive salvation. It just says what it says. So when Priest is done with that, we're going to go over that chapter. And then again, if anybody has any questions, any points, any whatever, hit the link and we can discuss it. In the interim, are there any questions on the comment board? I'm looking at the TGC Ministries live.
No, the comments are...
The comments are from both?
Yeah, yep, the comments are from both.
Okay, all praise to the Most High.
All right, give me one. Just deal with the comments. Give me like 2 minutes.
All right. Y'all got any questions? And again, we got Passover coming on Sunday. I know some brothers have, I think they're going to be keeping theirs April 1st. Much love to them. And for anybody who's, commemorating Passover and whatever day they are. Derek Q 7437 says, when the scripture in Daniel says, the kingdom shall not be left to other people, what would the proper breakdown on it be? So he's referring to Daniel chapter 2, when you see Nebuchadnezzar have a dream that Daniel breaks down. And the head represents Babylon. The I think it was the chest or the torso represents the Babylon, or sorry, the Medes and the Persians. Then you have the rest of the body broken down by the Greeks and the Romans. And in verse 44, let me pull it up. Daniel chapter 2 and verse 43. I'll just get to the point, matter of fact. Verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom. So the Most High is going to set up a kingdom. This is the kingdom of the Most High, which shall never be destroyed. The kingdom is going to endure forever. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people. When you read it in other versions, it'll just say, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed or conquered. It will crush all these kingdoms into nothingness and will stand forever. I believe the King James is the only one. I can do some cross comparison. No, the Christian Standard Bible does say, it should not be left to other people. There's a couple ways of breaking this down. One, the kingdom of heaven is going to be headed by Israelites. No one's denying that. It's not going to be a Gentile ruled kingdom. It's going to be an Israelite ruled kingdom. So in that respect, it's not being left to other people. I've also heard some other people say it's referring to, it's not left to sinners or things of that nature. I think the more accurate interpretation is, because when you look at all the prior kingdoms, Babylon was ruled by their own ethnic group. The Persians were ruled by their own ethnic group, and then the other kingdoms follow. In the kingdom, it will be similar. It's going to be us as the hegemony, but then we can see throughout the whole Bible, there are Gentiles who will be joined amongst us, even as there were, for example, in Babylon. In Babylon, Daniel himself, albeit his people were not in a good position, he himself was third in Babylon. So it's not going to be left for them to rule it. It's similar to I'm not looking at the comments right now, so I'll come back.
All right, I'm on,
but it's similar to Luke 21 and 24 when it says until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. In the kingdom, it's not going to be the time of the Gentiles. It's going to be the time of Israel, but there will be Gentiles joined to us. Somebody said biblically, what would this symbol he posted, this so-called Star of David, be? Because I hear so many different things. I just want a clear answer. So first, I'll tell you what it's not. People call it the Star of David. People call it the Star Rimpham. It's neither of those things. What's another thing people call that? The seal. I've heard people call it the seal of David or the seal of Solomon. That's spoken about, I think, in Wisdom of Solomon. That's not it either. Very simply, to the point and clearly, it's a lily flower or a pomegranate. When you read in 1 Kings chapter 7, when King Solomon is building the temple, it says around like verse 14 to 18, it says, maybe 19. It says on the chapiters in the temple or outside the temple, the pillars, there was lily work. When you look at the Hebrew word that's used there for lily work, it's basically images of a lily flower. And when you look at a water lily, it's going to be the so-called six-pointed star. A pomegranate, when it buds, if you look at it, it is in the same exact shape as what people call the six-pointed star. That's what it is.
All right, we got links in the chat for on both channels, so y'all can click the link and join the panel. We got my cell brother Hassad in the building. Oh my God, why didn't you guys tell me my lips were so dry? All right, let's take a look at the chat here. So we got the panel. When the scripture says, break it down biblically, what is that? Romans 11:11, through their fall, salvation comes through the Gentiles. All right, we're going to pull up our presentation in a second. How come you guys use the word salvation and not servitude?
Well, I'll answer that just very simply, because the Bible uses the word salvation. And the sister, I think her question is, well, if the Gentiles are serving us, how is that salvation? Well, if we're going to follow that same line of reasoning, in Revelation 22, it says that we are going to serve Christ. So does that mean that we're not going to receive salvation? We're servants of God. Does that mean that we're not going to get salvation? That's 2 points. And the third is not every single Gentile is going into what you would consider servitude or captivity. Whilst, yes, the Israelites will be the top people on the earth, that doesn't mean that every other Gentile is going to just be in some cotton field somewhere. That's just not what the Bible details, sister. So that's why.
Yeah, in Isaiah 60, I want to also let her know this. In Isaiah 60, sister, we see Gentiles coming and bringing riches. We see in Zechariah 14, Gentiles coming up from their land. Zechariah 14 is right after the Valley of Jehoshaphat. So that shows you that they're not in chains, they're not in captivity. They're coming up from their land to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So every Gentile is not going to be in chains and in servitude. The ones who on this side cleave to Israel, have faith in the Messiah, keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, they get that salvation. Salvation is being saved from the wrath of God. The wrath of God is the lake of fire, bondage. So yeah, and then the Bible just says what it says when it says the Gentiles, they receive salvation.
Yeah, so I think you guys, let's all read this chapter. Let's just read it. And I've heard other people over the years. I've I've heard other brothers go into Romans 11 and specifically try to say this is the northern kingdom, or this is the this, or that is the this is the that. If you just read the chapter, and I find it ironic that certain people that read it, they purposely, I would say purposely don't read certain verses. No, we're going to read the whole thing, and it's pretty clear what it says. So we can get into it.
Wally Lancaster says there's no captivity in Christ's kingdom. Wally, that's just not true. That's just not true. And if you like to click the link, we can show you that the majority of the nations are in fact going into bondage and captivity due to what they did to the Israelites, God's chosen people. So if you like to be edified, we can edify you, my dear beloved. And then somebody says, yeah, but how is that not separation? Gentiles can't be priests. We never said that there was no hierarchy. Okay, it said, I actually think Romans 11 is meaning all three groups from my recent studies, Southern Kingdom, Northern Kingdom, and ethnic Gentiles. I mean, when it says Israel, when it says the natural branches, then yes, it is talking about Northern and Southern Kingdom. But when it says Gentiles, those are ethnic Gentiles. All right. So if we don't have anybody, we could kind of go into a little bit of the presentation. Again, if you guys been living under a rock, this updated presentation is one for the books. And come in.
And again, if anybody has any disagreements, then just hit the link and voice your disagreements. We're not going to berate you. We're not going to curse you out. So, and you know that that's true. There's someone that's listening to this that disagrees, and for whatever reason, they're not going to listen. I guess you don't have to, but don't talk ish from the comment board and not click the link is all I'm going to say. So we're getting ready to go into this presentation. How does salvation and captivity go hand in hand? Sister, I think that's the point you're missing. You're saying that their salvation is captivity. That's just not what the Bible says. The Bible never says every single Gentile is going into captivity. It doesn't say that. Jeremiah 30:16 tells you who's going into captivity. Therefore, all your adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. Every Gentile is not our adversary. There's nowhere in the Bible that says that. So I hope that answers your question.
He said we showed a scripture yesterday that said there was no separation from sojourners. No, it didn't. It said love them like you love yourself. Treat them like another Israelite, even though they're not an Israelite. That doesn't mean that a sojourner can then be a Levitical priest. A sojourner can then be a Gentile, can then be a king. Like, it's just generally speaking, love them like you love yourself. All right, this is the Amalek breakdown. So I want to go into Romans 11, but there are some good questions in the chat. To you, I believe that's Leviticus 19:33-34. Sunshine shiny. I believe that's what you're talking about. But let's answer the question with Amalek. I wish somebody would click the link, but it's okay. Let's use this for teaching moments.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go to boom. Let's go to Amalek. Let's go to the Amalek section. Okay, here we go. But what about Amalek? What about Amalek? Somebody said, can Amalek be saved? Somebody says Psalms 83 names all of our adversaries. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. There's several Gentile nations that are not listed there. So by your logic, every Gentile nation that is listed there is our enemy. Okay, but using the same logic, every Gentile nation not listed there must not be our enemies. Are Samoans and Tongans listed in Psalm 83?
No, they're not.
So, okay, then that means they're not our enemies. Cool, thank you.
Right. Okay, so but what about Amalek? Because the law in Deuteronomy 25:19 says to blot them all out. The fact that we see Edomites, because Amalek are Edomites, the fact that I forgot. It's okay. Good. Go ahead and unsubscribe, brother. We got a lot of new subscribers. We don't even mess with who messes with us, right? So anyway, the fact that we see Edomites being called by the Lord's name in Amos 9 and 12, it shows you that a remnant, what does it say? That they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord. So there is a remnant from all nations that will cleave and will serve the Most High. That's just what the prophecy says. That's what the New Testament says. That's what the Torah says. And the apostles extending salvation to Edomites, that's what they did. You guys got to remember, this only Israel doctrine, only Israel can be saved doctrine is only 40 years old. I told you guys I got boots older than this doctrine.
Yeah, show me a source from 100 years ago that says only Israelites can be saved. Show me one.
Just one.
From any credible scholar.
It don't even have to be a scholarly source.
No?
Assad.
Okay.
It could be some nigga.
Wrote graffiti
There ain't
on the
even
wall.
one nigga on any Martin Luther King in America before 1990 with one West Israelites that taught this. No, ain't no Gentiles ruling over no Israelites. So, okay, so now she said, so Gentiles can get repentance. Just listen
let's
up.
just see what it says. Look what it says.
So the apostles extending salvation to Edomites and people from all nations and every tribe. Where do we see that? In Acts 10 and 35. He didn't say every nation except for this nation. In Acts 17 and 30, he said everywhere.
Yeah.
He didn't say everywhere except for. And then in Revelation 7 and 9, he said every tribe. Amalek would be a tribe. This calls into question the literality of this law, but let's examine it. Right.
Yeah, and just to quote that Acts 17, it says, in the times of this ignorance, this is verse 30 and 31, in the times of this ignorance, God winked at, but now God commands all men, pos, anthropos, every human being, everywhere, to do what? To repent. So now let's get into Amalek.
So, Deuteronomy 25 and 19. Therefore it shall be when the Lord thy God hath given thee rest. Keep that in mind, y'all. When he has given us rest, this is what you call land entry dependent law. From all thy enemies round about, in the land which the Lord thy God hath given thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out, keep in mind, y'all, blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget it. So they say, one West Israelites use this to say no salvation to Amalek, but this is land entry commandment, and it's hyperbole, not literally every Amalek will be destroyed. How do we know? It's about judgment and destruction, but we're not just going to say it. We're just going to prove it. This is the Hebrew word for blot out. It's maha or maha, right? So if this is literal, they're going to say, yeah, it says blot out. That means destroy every single last one of them. Well, God also said he would blot out everyone in Jerusalem during the Babylonian siege, but he did not unalive everyone in Jerusalem. So does blot out mean wipe out every single last one of them from existence? No. 2 Kings 21 and 13. And I will stretch over Jerusalem the line of Samaria and the plummet of the house of Ahab, and I will wipe Jerusalem as a man wipeth a dish, wiping it and turning it upside down. This word maha, blot out, is used what, 2 to 3 times within this? But he did not blot out all of Israel during the Babylonian siege.
Yeah. And when it says wipe, that means like when you're doing the dishes and you got soap and whatever you're using to clean the dish and you completely clean it. God is saying he's going to completely cleanse Israel of men, of people.
Man, that's real.
Did he unalive every single person in Israel? No.
Yo, he literally threatened to ethnic cleanse us, bro.
Exactly.
So if this is literal, how can this verse make sense? If blotting them out, meaning get rid of every last one of them, how does this verse make sense? Exodus 17 and 16. For he said, because the Lord hath sworn, the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. How can he be at war with them from generation to generation if they're all eradicated? Think, guys, think. You can do it. I believe in y'all. So, furthermore, Deuteronomy 25 and 19 is not a future prophecy. It's a land entry law. It's not an ongoing law. It says, enter the land, and it was fulfilled with who? With King Solomon. We all agree that King Solomon fulfilled this law. Matter of fact,
Saul, you mean Saul?
Saul. King Saul fulfilled this law. Matter of fact, Samuel told him to fulfill this law. Put a 1 in the chat if that's right according to the Bible or wrong. Okay. So Samuel tells Saul to fulfill this law, Deuteronomy 25 and 19, right? Now, watch this, everybody. What was the one thing Samuel did to not fulfill this law? This is going to be the walk down.
Somebody, how did Saul violate this law?
Yeah, somebody need to click the link because I wanted to walk this down in real life. I didn't want fast food today. I wanted to really cook, Hassad.
Matter of fact, since no one else will do it, I'll play Hebrew Israelite. Let's see.
Play Hebrew Israelite. Okay. So you don't believe
Hebrew Israelite. Let me see.
Play a black Israelite.
That's gonna get clipped. All right. I'll play oh God.
Play one Western.
Well, I mean, I still technically am that too. You guys get what I'm saying? I'll play demon. All right. Oh, so now we're demons? You guys get the hell I'm saying. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so you don't believe Amalek can be saved?
No, man. It says they're going to be utterly blotted out.
Okay, and do you believe that King Saul fulfilled that law?
He was supposed to, but he failed because he didn't.
How did he fail?
Because he didn't unalive Agag.
Because he didn't kill Agag. So if he would have killed Agag, then he would have filled Deuteronomy 25 and 19.
Yeah.
Okay, but why would so Samuel then killed Agag, but we still see Amalekites alive later in the biblical narrative.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
It's over.
Have a good night.
It's over. You guys, I want to make sure everyone needs to understand this. And I know that some of the there's going to be people that listen. They're going to try to develop a strategy in terms of arguing against it. Play the game all you would or all you want. There's no. This is my defense is impregnable. What does he say? My style is impetuous. It doesn't matter, bro. Do whatever you like to do. Remember, brothers, the breakdown is in 1 Samuel 15. Saul was supposed to go and unalive every single Amalekite, fulfilling Deuteronomy 25 and 19. He doesn't because he leaves Agag alive. But then Samuel unalives Agag. So shouldn't that mean it was already fulfilled?
And if that's the case, why in the hell do we see Amalekites after that? That means that law would have been completely fulfilled if he would have done away with Agag, but we still would have seen other Amalekites. Watch this. Let's further prove it. So, proof King Saul fulfilled Deuteronomy 25 and 19, and it wasn't about every Amalekite on earth. So in 1 Samuel 15 and 1, he says, I have noted what Amalek did to Israel. Now go and strike Amalek and devote them destruction, all that they have. So, and then he says, look, so it says, do not spare them, kill both man and woman, child, infant, all of that. Then verse 11 says, it repented me that I have set up Saul to be king. Look what the Lord says. For he has turned back from following me and have not performed my commandments. So he's saying he would have fulfilled Deuteronomy 25 and 19 if he would have got rid of Agag. But look what it says, though. He said to only do it from... I know the way.
Verse 9, I think. Did you
verse 9? Okay, we'll pull it up. I'm pretty sure I got it. There we go. Look, verse 7. And Saul defeated the Amalekites from Havilah as far as Shur, which is east of Egypt. The Bible lists the geography of the blotting out. It doesn't say it's worldwide. It doesn't say it's global, because there were more Amalekites outside of those boundaries. It's because this particular group of Amalekites were hostiles against our borders. Deuteronomy 25 and 19 is a prophetic law to execute within Israel's military reach. That's why he didn't say, go get every Amalekite in the Levant. Go get every Amalekite in the Middle East. Go get every Amalekite in the whole world. No, he said, get the ones from Havilah to Ashur, because those are the hostiles against our borders. Bow. And there's a lot more, but we're waiting for somebody to click the link. Okay, so let's take a look at the chat here. This Gentile top of y'all teaching got these brothers in the case. Slamming them on their neck like Kurt Angle. Not all Amalek was in the land, all acts like not all Amalek was in the land, all acts like they was all living amongst each other. True. I think I agree with you. Are we part of the Gospel Coalition? I don't know what that is.
That's some Christian. If you look up TGC, the Gospel Coalition is going to come up. It's like a Christian coalition. No, we're not a part of it. And no, we didn't sell out for $10 million.
That's crazy. Listen, y'all, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to talk about our current life conditions. But let's go back to Romans 11. All right, y'all, because that's kind of what we wanted to deal with today. We wanted the theme for today to be Romans 11. Wally Lancaster. Wally. You got to be careful with a nigga named Wally. Wally, where you from, brother? Where your grandma stay? Okay, so somebody said GOCC members might flock to you. Well, here's one thing I will say about GOCC. They issued a challenge to One West about Cornelius, and not One West took the challenge. The elder GOCC of GOCC, Rakah, issued a challenge to One West about Cornelius not being an Israelite, and not one. You know what they did? Little funny gay stuff like that. Just said little jokes, but didn't really lace up the gloves and get in there. We consider that marks from Jellystone Park.
Yeah, someone should take that challenge. It's, what is it? 5 days until the first. We got, you got rent to pay. That's a rack towards rent. You could take that.
Right.
But yeah, we're gonna go into Romans 11. And again, if anybody disagrees, just explain to us how we're wrong. Don't we're not gonna don't do the ad hom. Oh, you just love white people. Don't, just answer the question and deal with the information.
All right, so let's go through a couple of points. Couple of points on Romans 11. Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Somebody said fishing for a debate. This is just a conversation. A debate is formal, moderated, flyers, times, rounds, hot seats. No, this is just a conversation. I don't know since when did niggas get so scared to have a conversation. We have had some private conversations.
Yeah.
All praises. And that's fine too. I always invite brothers to have private conversations instead of Twitter fingers.
And I just say this, and I don't want to, take up too much time before we go into Romans 11. But I want everyone to at least think about this point right here. This is a very fair thing that I'm getting ready to say. Before we disagreed with most of you guys were like, man, I bet you guys won't debate Deacon and Assad. I bet this Christian won't debate you. I bet you guys won't debate, and you would champion us as debaters. Now we disagree with you, and it's like, oh man, these niggas got a debate demon on them.
No, when I went on Sam Shamone's show, Sam Shimon was like, oh, we got the big fish. When I went on God Logic's show, he told his audience, yeah, this is one of their top guys. So apparently all of Israel is going to these big Christian apologists saying, it maybe not only me, but saying, yeah, one of our hitters are this, one of our hitters are that. Now, hey, that's out. All right, we got a brother on here. What's going on, man? Hey, we come in peace. I hope you come in peace. Devon Johnson.
What's up, D?
What's up, brother? I got a cousin named Devon. I can't stand him, so I hope you're not like my cousin. Go ahead.
Nah, mine Devon, D-E.
Okay, I got you.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, though, man, I'm gonna keep it quick, man. I came in the game with y'all, man. Been in it with y'all. Struggle with this process. What's been going on with the Gentile stuff? What y'all want to ride? But listening now today, man, you know what I'm saying, on my way home to work, it seemed like y'all, it's been a while. Y'all been knew this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, I was.
I need you explain it to me. Talk to me, cause y'all going to too many scriptures. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? Like, holla at your boy.
Hey,
Right,
You know
I
what I'm
got you.
saying?
It's a fair.
Cause
It's like, how did you
y'all
just?
done been over these scriptures. And y'all the two smartest niggas in the game. You know what I'm saying? And it's real to me. So I need, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah, I
talk
got
to
you.
me. Talk to me
100%,
straight up.
brother. 100%, I got you.
No
So,
doubt, man to man.
yes, sir. So I want to give you a preface real quick before I answer it. If you look at the Bible Hub timeline, it says Christ died around 33, and you read Luke, his ministry was 3 years long. I'll make this short and sweet. So that means Christ began his ministry at around 30 AD. Acts chapter 10 with Cornelius takes place at around, I think it's 40 AD. So that means for 10 years, from the beginning of him being a disciple into Acts chapter 10, Peter himself didn't have all the answers, particularly, and I think it's ironic, about the Gentile situation. So in the same way, I have been aware of some of this information, but I didn't agree with it. I knew some of these talking points. I knew they existed. I didn't know the answer. I thought, no, these are just Israelites, and I tried to build an argument to prove that they're Israelites. But then it got to a point where you just have to accept reality for what it is. So it's not a situation of, oh, we've just been hiding something that we've known inherently for years. No, it's something that
No,
we
Go ahead. My bad.
yes, it's something that we have struggled with and tried to find out, okay, well, what is the correct answer? Because at first we thought, okay, these are just Israelite Gentiles. But then after continuing to do research, when you find out that it's not, then, we had to present the truth for what it is.
Well, I appreciate that part, you know what I'm saying, and stand on 10 about that part, cause you know what I mean. But I'm in the same situation. Like you got to be patient with us too, cause you just said a 10-year thing. You know what I'm saying? With who you said, Peter. Yeah. So we just coming into, cause I learned I don't listen. I'm solely with y'all and Captain Cesario. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm coming from now. Boom, y'all. The two people I listen to, y'all in there like Tiafimo and Shakur. You know what I'm saying? Like what's
I
going
understand,
on?
brother. 100%.
So I'm like, you know what I mean? You gotta be patient with the people who follow you too. You know what I'm saying? Not be so quick with us, and cause you know what I mean? Cause we coming, we on our 10 year. We on year 1. You know what I mean?
I got you.
So,
You're 100% right, brother. You're 100% right.
yeah, I appreciate your explanation for it, man. And you know what I mean? Yeah, I appreciate what y'all do, man. You and Deacon, man. Deacon, man, you trolling with the dog though.
My
Your
dog,
boy
I'm ready to.
You're right, though,
that
brother.
boy saying name Gentile.
I'm ready to sell her. I'm ready to sell her already, man.
Oh, she would get bought too.
Yeah.
She would get bought.
I'm
Yeah, I
ready to sell
appreciate
her.
y'all, man. I
appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna tune back in.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, man. Appreciate it.
And we do understand that, and that's something that we got to make sure that we're definitely cognizant of.
It's hard, and I want to just say this too. It's hard when I'm not. If you can't get it, then me like disrespecting you or insulting you, that's wrong. But it's hard to let you guys sit up there and put these disrespectful comments as if I wasn't the one cooking Israelites. I'm talking about in a disrespectful way. You guys know I'm way worse with the insults. So it's hard for me to sit back, the cloth that I'm cut from, and let people berate me. But that just, you got to really have the love of Christ and the patience. So, but it's hard though. It's definitely hard, to suffer that persecution without firing back. And that's something that I personally will admit publicly that I need to work on. So all praise to the Most High for that.
Romans.
All right. So we're going to take a pause from the chat for a second to deal with some of this presentation. And again, this updated PDF will be out after Passover. We got a couple more things. It's like 400 slides. You can literally start an Israelite congregation and teach on this for 4 to 5 months. Crazy work. So we're going to go through this presentation. So if you guys really want us to be aware of what you're saying, then you can just click the link and we'll interrupt the presentation to talk to you live. Other than that, we're going to shift from the chat for a second. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we're golden.
All right. So you want to lead and break it down or what?
Yeah, that's fine. We can just go back and forth.
I'm going to drink this smoothie.
I got you. Romans 11 and 11. So this is where the context starts to begin concerning the Gentile salvation thing. So verse 11, it says, I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid. But rather, through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy.
Wait, 1 second, 1 second. How you doing, sister?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm not
We
too
all
bad.
right.
How's everything?
Okay. This is what this is a comment concerning what you was just going through. You already know you can't have a testimony without a test.
Yeah.
With that being said, all of those trolls that are in the comments, they're sit there and designed to test you to see how far they can take it to see if you will fail. Don't let nobody rent space in your head for free or build a condo. That's all I had to say to y'all. Y'all have a good day.
I appreciate you, sister.
Appreciate
Hey, received.
Yeah.
All praises. Okay.
Yeah,
Brother
I don't care.
Caleb.
You guys can talk
Was
about
good,
my
was
mama all y'all
good.
want in the comment section. I feel good now.
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, say the most insults in the comment. You know, we gonna let them hurl them today.
Go ahead.
Caleb, what's going on, man?
Was good, y'all. Shalom,
Where you
man.
at? You in the barbershop? You in a barbershop chair?
Nah. I'm in a little office jump.
What's good, brother?
It was good, man. I just want to encourage y'all brothers, man. Like all praises for the work y'all been doing, man. It's definitely been a hold on, baby. Hold on, okay. It definitely been a delight to my heart. And hold on. It's been a delight to my heart, man, just to see what y'all doing, man. So I just wanna encourage y'all to continue, man. But for the record, I wanted to ask y'all, just for the record, what is y'all position regarding Gentile, like in admit Gentile salvation? For the record, would y'all clarify y'all stance on inter-ethnic marriages?
Interracial marriages?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't encourage it, certainly. Does it take place in the Bible? It does. Is it something that is encouraged? No. Is it something that is restricted? It sometimes is, but not always. Prime example is Numbers chapter 12 with Moses. Moses, of course, marries a Cushite, and Miriam tries to speak. Miriam and Aaron speak against him for that, and we see what God's response is. He gives Miriam leprosy. So does that mean that that type of behavior is encouraged? No, it's not. We see, for example, in Deuteronomy chapter 7, how God didn't want us dealing with those specific Gentile nations. So while something can not be forbidden, it's not encouraged either. If it happens, it happens. It just is what it is. But I certainly wouldn't promote it.
Amen. Yeah, that's basically what I believe as well. So all praises.
All praise to the Most High.
Oh, praise. Hey, where you from, bro? You from Philly?
No, he's only from New
Nah,
Orleans.
Maryland.
Oh,
New
hell.
Orleans? Oh,
Wait,
Nah,
Maryland.
Maryland.
I
Like
knew
next
it
to
was
DC.
okay, I knew it was somewhere up over there. All praise to the Most High.
Yep.
All right, King, we appreciate you.
For sure.
All right, bet.
Hey, look at that, man. We're getting love. Man, it's back-to-back love, Deacon. It's been so long since I felt some love.
Listen. When we get love now, I actually genuinely appreciate it.
No, I'm smiling. You understand?
I took it for granted. I took the love we had for granted. But when you get hated for the Christ's name's sake, you appreciate that love again.
Man.
Okay, go ahead, brother. No more interruptions.
All right. So it says again, I'll read Romans 11:11. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid. But rather through their fall, salvation has come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them, the same people who fell, which we're getting ready to read about, to jealousy. So there's two parties. One people who fell, and through that people's fall, Gentiles receive salvation. The whatchamacallit, the live thing is kind of blocking the top left corner, but it just says the something Jew would never be jealous of fellow Israelites receiving salvation. Throughout the New Testament, Jews celebrated when scattered Israelites repented or returned. Here's some proof in the New Testament. Here are verses showing Jews were never jealous of Israelites being reached. Acts chapter 2, verse 5, 9 and 11. There's Jews from every nation that are gathered. Bithynia, Rome, it says strangers of Rome, Egyptians, etc. Acts 2 and 41, 3,000 scattered Israelites God gladly accepted the gospel. Acts 11 and 19 to 21. Israelites in Phoenicia, Cyprus, Antioch believed. Acts 21 and 20. Myriads of Jews who believed. James 1 and 1. To the 12 tribes scattered abroad. He doesn't just say to the Israelites in Jewry scattered abroad. He says to the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Never once do the apostles show jealousy, anger, or resistance toward Israelites being awakened. They rejoice. So jealousy cannot be about Israelites. it wouldn't make sense, just to reiterate, about, hey, I'm gonna go to another Israelite to make the Israelites jealous. That's a circular argument that makes no sense whatsoever. But as we see with the backlash we've received from the community and Paul himself, especially in the book of Acts, when you say I'm going to go to the Gentiles to teach them, you can see the anger and hostility, which, if you're there, reminds me, oh, that's so crazy. Literally, Deacon, I was about to say Luke chapter 4, and here it is on the screen. That's crazy. So it says, jealousy is triggered by outsiders receiving what insiders expect. Exactly. And here same thing happened with Christ. This fits the same pattern Yeshua taught. Luke 4:25. Elijah helped a Gentile widow. Jews became furious. Verse 27, Elisha healed Naaman the Syrian. Jews wanted to kill him. I know you have it on the screen, but I want to read that in the Bible real quick, just so everyone can kind of follow along. So I'm going to read Luke 4, and I'm going to start at verse 23 for some context. It says, and he said unto them, this is Christ speaking, you will surely say unto me this proverb, physician, heal thyself. Whatsoever we have heard done in Capernaum, do also here in this country. We heard that you were healing people and giving miracles. Do that for us here. Verse 24. And he said, verily I say unto you, truly I tell you, no prophet is accepted in his own country. Verse 25, he's going to expound. What does he mean? No prophet is accepted in his own country. But I tell you of a truth, many widows were in Israel in the days of Elijah, when the heaven was shut up 3 years and 6 months, so 3.5 years, when great famine was throughout all the lands. There was a bunch of widows in Israel for these 3.5 years where there was a drought, basically. But unto none of them was Elijah sent. God did not send Elijah to our people at this time. Who did he send Elijah to? Save unto Sarepta, a city of Zidon, unto a woman that was a widow. This is not an Israelite. Now, why is this important? Because Christ is correlating part of what he would do with what the prophets of old did. And then we see Paul, of course, doing the same exact thing, which is also going to people outside of your own. Elijah did it, and Christ is saying essentially his message will open the door for that same thing to happen. And it made people jealous and angry. I'm going to keep going. Verse 27, and many lepers were in Israel in the time of, I think that's Elisha, yes, Elisha the prophet, so Elijah's protege. And none of them was cleansed. Elisha didn't go heal the lepers of our people, saving Naaman the Syrian. That's another Gentile. Now watch this. And all they in the synagogue, when they heard these things, that's where Christ is teaching amongst the Israelites, when they heard it, they said, oh yeah, it's all good. Those are just scattered Israelites. No. It says, when they heard these things, they were filled with wrath and rose up and thrust him out of the city. They formed a mob and kicked him out of the damn city and led him unto the brow of the hill whereon their city was built, that they might cast him down headlong. But they tried to throw Christ off of an effing cliff for this. For what we're teaching for what we're teaching, you can see the veracity of hatred that our people have. If these are just, could you guys imagine that? Like, does this make any sense that he's talking about Israelites? So you're going to Cleveland, and you tell the people in Cleveland, all right, guys, we're getting ready to go. We're going to leave Cleveland, and we're going to go teach the Israelites that are in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And then people taking you to go throw you off a damn cliff. That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. You know what does make sense? Hey, Israelites, I'm getting ready to go teach Gentiles. You're getting ready to what? And now we see exactly what they want to do. All right, let's keep going. Israelites were never jealous of their own brothers, only Gentiles receiving blessings. Let's keep going.
1 second. Sax Dynamite.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up,
What's
brother?
going on, brother?
So I just have some questions. The brother that just came on, he was speaking of interracial marriages,
Yeah.
right? So, and obviously you guys teach about the Gentile communities, right? Gentile / Israelite communities.
You mean how those one brothers have they have an off-grid community that has Gentiles in it?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's possible that interracial marriage could take place there. right?
There, it could. There
Yeah.
with those brothers, I believe it could. I'm not gonna be outside with a sign. I'm not like pro. You know, people like pro-abortion or anti-abortion. I am not pro-interracial marriage. That's my stance for the record. That is not something I am for.
Right. So, let's say like marriages do happen. Israelite sister could be with Edomite, right? That could happen. It is happening, right?
I mean, what do you mean? Could it happen? It happens every day.
Happens every day. So, and they both believe in the Torah. They keep the laws of Moses.
Can they be saved? Yes.
Yeah. So that marriage would take place in the kingdom too, right? They wouldn't be separated.
Would they still be married in the kingdom? Is what you're asking me?
Yes.
I don't see any inclination that they would be separated. No.
So
Just like I don't see any inclination that was Moses and his wife separated. No. Was David and his Gentile wife separated? No. I don't see that in the what about Ruth and etc. Was she separated? No. Now again, these are outliers. These are things that don't typically happen. Most races of the planet Earth marry within their own because that's the norm. There's a reason why God made distinct races. If he wanted us all to be if he wanted us all to procreate with each other, then we would just all be the same skin tone and have the same phenotype. He clearly made us different for a reason. So typically, you're going to deal with the members of your own community and race. That's what should be propagated. That's what I propagate. However, can there be a situation of a Israelite marrying a Gentile? Yes. And can they be saved? Yes. Is that something that I would promote? No.
So that means in the kingdom, they were together and she would have an Edomite baby because it goes by the father. You guys believe that, right?
Yep.
So she would have a subordinate child in the kingdom?
What do you mean a subordinate child?
Because obviously she would be below an Israelite.
The child?
Yeah, the child would be an Edomite because
right. So so would the child be on the same level as the Israelites?
Correct.
In many respects, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So yeah, that's interesting. So then let's say obviously you guys believe that an Israelite woman would live like as long as a tree, 700, 600 years old, right?
They live long, yes.
And then obviously Edomite wouldn't, let's say 100 less, right?
What do you mean an Edomite wouldn't?
Oh, Edomite would. Now you guys are switching your stance on that. I thought they obviously don't get the same eternity as like an Israelite would. Immortality.
Well, where do you see a separation in the Bible with those who are in the new covenant and get glorified bodies of Israel and their life expectancy and Gentiles?
Oh, I thought you guys used Isaiah 65 for that.
This is the sinner.
Well, they still sin in the kingdom.
Where's that? Where are the members of the new covenant sinning in the kingdom?
Oh, so you guys switched on that? Am I following? Or
no, I don't think you're following. I'm asking a question.
You guys always believe that, or
can you show me where members of the new covenant sin?
Yeah, I'm a little confused because obviously you guys use Jeremiah.
That's why you don't come, but this is why you can't come with preconceived notions, and you should just ask.
Because
let's establish a baseline. Do you believe that Gentiles receive salvation?
Well, I'm still learning. So
you're just saying that to avoid having to answer questions, brother.
No. You guys are the teachers.
Brother. I see.
Who are the Gentiles right here in Romans 11? How about that?
Wait. Can I ask one more question?
You've been this is like your third or fourth time coming on here, brother, and we don't mind answering all your questions. But this is what you're doing in an attempt to probably gather some type of brother, go in there and ask them questions so then you can report back. We have it on record. That's fine. If you want to do that, I'm totally okay with that.
Report back to who?
Well, I don't know. That's the point. So
you guys can't assume either.
It's not about.
So all I was saying is obviously Ezekiel says.
One second, brother.
Those nations are not part of the covenant.
I got you, but one second. I've answered 4 of your questions. I've answered 4 of your questions in a row.
Ezekiel 16:65.
Can we not argue? Can we just talk, brother?
We're not arguing. You guys start coming at me. I'm just asking questions.
No one's coming at you, bro. I'm trying to say, listen, bro. If I'm going to answer your questions, that's fine. That's what we're here for. Allow us to ask questions in response. Don't do the.
I'm not done asking my questions yet.
Okay, but you just asked 3, so I can clarify.
Because I didn't.
It's going to be a back and forth. Right. Look, listen. If you want to remain on here, we're gonna ask some questions too. All right. So to answer your question, to answer your Ezekiel 16 question, the proper context of that is Sodom and Samaria being received, even though the covenant was not made with them. So what it's shown is covenant inclusion, even though it wasn't made with them. Just like with the old covenant, well, not with the old covenant, but with the new covenant, these Gentiles cannot independently, apart from cleaving to us and being joined to Israel make it.
Yeah, that's what Romans 11 is all about. They have to be grafted into us. They
Right.
They can't remain in the tree that they're in. They have to be broken off from their tree and grafted into ours to receive
Yeah.
anything.
But let me let my plane real quick. So if you read Ezekiel 16 in context, do you see where the other nations switch from being sisters to daughters?
Correct.
So that shows you that there's inclusion, but there's still also positions. So that's our stance in exegesis on Ezekiel 16, especially when you look at it in comparative translations and in context.
Right. And I remember you teaching that. So that's why I was saying, what would
the covenant is made with us. They have to join to us to benefit from it. That's it.
Right. So
it can't be independent.
So wouldn't everybody be technically taking hold of the covenant in the kingdom since they have to keep the law, statutes, commandments?
By force at that point, by subjugation, yes. But in order to escape your judgment, then you would have to, in order to escape the wrath of God, to get that salvation, you would have to do something on this side, which Isaiah 56 tells you, take hold of the covenant right now. Yeah. That way you don't get that judgment.
Because that's what verse 1 of Isaiah 56 is detailing. This is prior to salvation, and it's telling people what they need to do in order to receive that. And it says the sons of the stranger that join themselves to the Lord, they receive that salvation.
Okay. And then I guess my question would be, like, North Korea, for example, they have less than 1% of Christians. Where do they go in prophecy? Do they even get a chance? Because obviously they have that dictator.
Well, let's just entertain that hypothetical. If they're 1% Christian, and Christianity, the religion of it, is full of hypocrites and non-believers and people who just say they believe in Jesus and don't do anything that the Bible says. So out of those self-proclaimed Christians, how many of them will be saved? I doubt. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I would assume the number would be very, 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 very small of people that are actually keeping Torah in North Korea. So if there are any Koreans in North Korea keeping Torah, then they, potentially could be saved. But if there isn't, then that country of North Korea, then it would just be a whole country of non-believers who would then go into subjugation.
Right. And then didn't you say they would also have to believe that we're the chosen Israelites too?
I mean, that's what the Lord's going to reveal. So of course they're going to have to. Isaiah 61 says that all that, I think it's Isaiah 61 and verse 9. It says, all that see you shall acknowledge you that you are the people which the Lord has blessed. So when the Messiah returns, it'll be made known who are the Israelites.
Well, I'm saying on this side, they would have to in order to get delivered. They can't believe like the fake Jews are the real people. They would have to believe that we are.
Well, not necessarily, because let me just say this. This is just something to think about. So if they follow Christ, who's an Israelite, but they don't, and they watch online, let's say they're in an isolated location, do they have to physically be amongst Israel? Not necessarily. They're still following Christ, who's an Israelite. And if they can learn from online, then they're still learning from Israelites, following our ways, following our influence. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I hope I answered. What was the question? Because
he's saying, does a Gentile have to know who the Israelites are in order to receive salvation? This is a question, and I promise you it's not a question to derail from the answer, but it'll answer your question, I would hope. Mm-hmm. Does an Israelite need to know he's an Israelite? But let's say he doesn't know he's an Israelite, he thinks he's a Gentile, but he keeps Torah, everything an aspect of Torah that he needs to observe, he does, and he believes in the Messiah as it is written. Does he get deliverance or no?
I'm asking you guys, honestly.
I understand, brother, but just if you don't know the answer, then just say I don't know.
Because last time I was on here, you said that the Gentiles would have to know that we're the chosen people in order to take hold of the covenant, because there's obviously, like you said, a bunch of hypocrites keeping some laws, Trinity and all that as well.
Well, I think the answer to your question is in the question that I posed. If I don't see anywhere in the Bible where an Israelite has to know that you have to know that you are a descendant of the Israelites in order to receive salvation. But even if the stance is only Israelites can receive salvation, but let's say there's an Israelite who just doesn't know he's an Israelite, yet he keeps Torah, yet he believes in the Messiah, what would stop him from being saved? There's no text in the Bible that would suggest that he can't be saved, which would indicate that knowing what your nationality or your race is not nearly as important as knowing God and his son.
Okay, so that means when people are teaching about we're the Israelites, it's not necessarily important. It's just about keeping the laws.
No one said it's not important, brother. I just said it's not nearly as important.
Interesting. Okay.
Do you think, is your race important?
Yes.
Okay, it's very important, right?
Is it more important than serving God? No, obviously.
Exactly. Perfect.
But
So
okay, and then I have one more question, then you guys can.
But real quick
go
before you
on.
ask your question, do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying race is not important. I'm just saying nothing is as important as God. That's all I'm saying.
Right. So I guess my last question before we got in that little fuss for some reason, I was just asking, if a sister's married to an Edomite in the kingdom, she has, so you're saying that they're not going to have less of a life. They're going to live just as long as the Israelites. So my question would be, what is the difference in the hierarchy at this point? Is it just,
Well, we're the ruling class of people. That's the hierarchy. So, for example, let's just go down the line. Who's going to be the most powerful human being on the earth? Christ. What race is he? An Israelite. Who's directly under him? The 12 disciples. What race are they all? Israelites. The 144,000. What race are they all? Israelites. The prophets: Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Zephaniah, Moses, David, etc. They would all be the ruling class, and they would be Israelites.
but what do you consider what do you consider ruling? Is my question.
Being having the authority and power.
And what does that look like?
Rulership? What do you mean? You have to be specific.
Like, what does like rulership look like to you guys?
As simple as dictating and telling people what to do, enforcing laws.
Okay, but
the highest dominance.
And then those in the new covenant, like Edomites and Elamites and all these, they would also be teaching laws too, correct? Because they have the new covenant, they don't sin anymore. The vassals, they don't sin.
When you say would they be teaching, what we see chiefly in Isaiah 61 is us being the ministers. So does that mean that there can't be a Gentile that would be able to minister in certain respects? I'm not saying that, but who are going to be the top, who is going to be the ministers? It's going to be the children of Israel.
Right. So would you agree that it's logical that a Gentile, or will we have to be present in their land, or could we set them up over their own people to enforce our laws?
Right.
And that's why I was saying, what would be the difference if they own slaves, they have power over the nations, like you
because they're still answering to somebody.
They got chariots.
Yeah, because they're still answering to someone. Here's the thing.
Okay.
Israel, we answer to the Messiah. That's who we answer to. Or maybe, ultimately that's who we answer to. The point is, us as a distinct race of people, the Israelites, we don't answer to no other race. The Gentiles, even those who are saved, they still have to answer to another race. They have to answer to the Israelites. We answer to the Messiah.
And not only that, did you mention this? They still have to serve. Tributaries, vassals are serving, but just not in chains. We serve nobody.
Exactly.
So there's an apex, there's a hegemony. But I got a question for you now, right? Because I think that was fair. We let you basically put us on the hot seat. Who are these Gentiles here in Romans 11 and 12?
Are you serious? That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, it is what it is. It's just sad that brothers have to be in that type of a spirit.
That nigga got the hell out of it.
You have to think about, well, what is the spirit behind someone that would just ask a million questions and then to try to garner some information and then be able to answer none? What is it about your position that sucks so bad that it can't even withhold one question? One question. Okay, we'd let you answer ask 100 questions if we could just ask one. So now let's ask the chat. Romans 11 and 12. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them be the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? Who are these Gentiles right here in Romans 11, chat?
Okay, we got Jew Brown. Jew Brown, what's up, brother?
Hello.
Yep.
So I know that Hamashiach, he's blameless and everything like that, but I got a question. So blameless means he hasn't sinned and all those type things, and I understand that, but there's always been one thing that's been like, kind of like when I read over it, I was like, how does this align with, this and this, and I just came and ask it. So it says in the Torah not to lie, right? Am I correct on that?
Yeah, not lie to each other. Leviticus 19, I think, like 11.
Yeah, so, but Hamashiach, when he was talking to his brothers, I had read over the other day, and I was like, bro, I just got to ask, like somebody's question. Hamashiach, he told his brothers, like, they was laughing at him or whatever, before he went to a feast. And then he told his brother, like, I'm not going to the feast, but
Tabernacles.
And then he ended up going to it. So, like, how do I, like, is it like you can't unrighteously lie, or like what type of, because technically,
when you read it in its context, I'd have to pull up the text, but he tells, this is the two, I think, disciples that don't believe. And when you read it in context, he just tells them, I'm not going to go yet. And that's why, remember, later, he disguises himself, and then he goes.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember what chapter it is, but I vividly remember the story.
I think it's in Matthew, said Matthew something. But I had read over it yesterday, and I was like, I have to ask somebody about this because, like, I don't want to because I don't want somebody to ask me about it, and I'd be like, well, you know, I don't know. So, okay, yeah, thanks, because it did have said that, like, because when they had left and they had got
John
there.
7, I got it right here, King.
Okay.
John 7, and I'll just get verse 2. Now the Jews' feast of tabernacles was at hand. His brethren therefore said unto him, Depart hence and go into Judea, that thy disciples also may see the works that you do. And they're like, yo, go to Judea so everyone can see your good works. For there's no man that doeth anything in secret, and he himself seeketh to be known openly. If you do these things, show yourself to the world. For neither did his brethren believe in him. Christ had 4 brothers. 2 of them were the 2 apostles, 2 of them were not. Now look at verse 6. Then Jesus said unto them, My time is not yet come, but your time is always ready. Or in the NLT, it'll say, now is not the right time for me to go. But you can go at any time. Y'all can go now. Now's not right now. I'm not going to go, meaning he'll go later. That's why you see him later. He goes there.
Okay. All right.
Or I'll read verse 8 just to further prove the point. Look what it says. Go ye up unto this feast. You guys go. I go not up yet unto this feast. He doesn't say I'm not ever going to go. He just says I'm not going yet.
Okay. All right. Yeah, thanks. That's because, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All praise to the Most High.
All right. So this is good. Let's get this. All right. What a day. What a day. So Romans 11 and 12. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? We got to read that slow because just like me, most of the people in the chat went to public school, Hassad. Paul is literally saying the fall of the natural branches, the Israelites, will be the riches of the world. But then it says, how much more their fullness. See, it talks about the riches of the Gentiles and then how the them gets a greater fullness. Look at the hierarchy within Romans 11. If these Gentiles are Israelites, then how do other Israelites get the more fullness? I know that they're going to say what, Northern Kingdom or scattered Israelites, and then the them are the Israelites that no, that's confusion. Don't all Israelites get the same reward? It's literally saying the fall of them are the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them, the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness. That means the them gets a more fullness than the riches of the Gentiles. They cannot be the same class. It makes no sense if everyone in this verse is an Israelite, which again, I have to say this because to you people who are listening who might be new, there's a doctrine in the earth that is only 40 years old. Not even that the Gentiles in Romans 11 are actually like scattered Israelites. 40-year-old doctrine. I find it funny, Hassad, that what slide number am I on? I'm on slide number 245. I'm going to come right back. Hassad, guess who taught that the Gentiles in Romans 11 were non-Israelites?
Who?
The founder of the One West camps. All the brothers that say Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, their founder said that the Gentiles in Romans 11 are natural Gentiles. Wow. This is Marks of a Lost Race, page 16. These marks are on the so-called Negro. There was no progress made in whatever he started. He became oppressed and angry at his failure, and he began to wonder why he did not prosper and why his eyes of understanding were blinded. Then he would run to the Gentiles. So he's talking about how black people have to run to the Gentiles for help by getting into his political field to be saved. But God said, no man shall save us out of this condition. Paul told the Gentiles about our blindness in Romans 11:25.
Like,
we in the stream.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it's one thing to, you guys can talk ish and whatever, turn down debates and things of that nature. What do you do with this, though? You got, who cares what he says? For those who don't know, there's a lot of new people in the truth. I want you guys to understand this. Most One West Israelite camps believe this man who wrote this book is John the Baptist reincarnated. Oh, the same John that Christ said there is not a greater prophet than. Christ literally said, among them that are born of women, there has not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Christ said this is the greatest nigga who's ever lived. So the greatest nigga who ever lived died, got killed by Herod, got reincarnated into this guy, wrote this book about the Bible, and then these same people will say, yeah, that nigga's John the Baptist, but he doesn't know what he's talking about right here. That's the reality of the situation. Now, you might be thinking, Hassan, there's no way that's right. You got to be exaggerating. I'm actually not, though. It's really crazy is I'm not exaggerating. That's how deep into the, what is it? The zone? I can't remember what zone.
The Twilight Zone.
Yeah, that's how deep into the Twilight Zone certain brothers are. That they will say, yeah, John the Baptist. That's why ISBK says John the Baptist wasn't even in the truth. They come across some stuff like this, like, this nigga, man, hell no.
It's crazy, y'all. So for those who want to join the chat, the link is pinned up at the top. So anyway, we have the elder of these camps who teach on the streets and wear fringes and say Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and got the 12 tribes chart. We have their founders saying the Gentiles in Romans 11 are Israelites.
Are not Israelites.
I mean, I'm sorry, are not Israelites. What am I saying? Natural Gentiles. And then let's keep going. I think High Priest REI post that too. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Page 13. Romans 11. He reiterates. This is High Priest REI's book. He reiterates the Abba Bivens teaching that Paul told the Gentiles about the Israelites' blindness in Romans 11:25.
Oh my God, man. What do you like? Just stop. You know what I mean? Just stop. This is why there's people on Facebook that are saying, guys, please do not watch their videos. It's bad. It says what it says. Like, do we need to grab the back of your guys' head and force and slam it against the computer? Like, I know brothers, sisters, please. It just says what it says. I promise you, we didn't make that up. I promise you, it's not AI. It says what it says. Now, you know what's? Now let me extend an olive branch, but it's still bad. Maybe they didn't know. Oh well, they weren't saying Gentiles could get saved. They were just saying that those particular. There's no way actually of getting around it. Because if you say that the Gentiles in Romans 11 are non-Israelites, you're saying they can get saved. So even if you teach a message of they can't get salvation, you just contradicted yourself. So at the very best, here's what we have to now understand. At the very best, John the Baptist reincarnated and the other elders and founders of One West Hebrew Israelism didn't even understand their own doctrine well enough to put it in a book. That's the reality of the situation. They published this book. That means when you write a book, you have to go over it. You don't just get done reading it as the rough draft and then put it out there. You have to go over it. As a matter of fact, they put out a revised version. So even in them reading this book, they weren't even able to determine that they just completely contradicted their theology. And we're supposed to believe everything that they say? No thanks.
Yeah. So let's get back. Oh, there was somebody in the back. If you want to come back on, let me know, brother. If you want to come back on, let me know. Just to answer this quick question for King Dog. King Dog, Isaiah 56. Those strangers that bend the car, they get salvation. Start at verse 1, go to 8. They're gathered at the same time as the Israelites. And there's plenty more. Okay, so you want to go ahead, Assad?
Yeah, I will. Romans 11 and 12 makes no sense if everyone in the verse is an Israelite. Paul says, if the fall of them is the riches for the world, and the diminishing them is riches for the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? If world, Gentiles, and them are all Israelites, then Paul is saying this: Israelites fell, Israelites rich. Israelites diminished, Israelites rich. And later the same Israelites will become even richer. That's nonsensical. What we're being told is this is how the verse is supposed to be read. And if the fall of them is riches for the Israelites, and the diminishing of them is riches for the Israelites, how much more the fullness of the Israelites? How are you full and diminished at the same time? How are you fallen and not fallen at the same time? These are two things that are diametrically opposed to one another. You cannot be cold and hot at the same time. You cannot be tall and short at the same time. You cannot have fallen Amber Alert style and standing up at the same time. It's impossible.
Ahmad.
Yeah, what's good? Shalom.
Shalom, brother. What's going on?
Yeah, man. The whole thing, right? It's it's be hard for me to debate you on this topic because y'all think the divine wall of partition is the law. I mean, is ethnic barriers and it's the law. Y'all still believe that we're supposed to keep the law and that Paul and them was talking about keeping the law. So it's kind of hard, like, to show you what he's talking about in Romans 11.
Can non-Israelites be saved, brother?
All Israelites to be saved. All.
Brother, can non-Israelites be saved?
We actually believe in the same thing. Okay, but so it's just that y'all are misusing a lot of these verses from Paul and from the New Testament, which is talking about people being they can be saved from destruction. Yes, I believe that.
They can be saved for or from destruction?
From destruction.
Okay, and then what?
And we believe in all that together, but y'all misusing a lot of these verses that when Paul is talking about the scattered abroad. He's talking about because they seek to attain it by the law, but the people that get it through faith without the law, those are the people that the other people going to be jealous of.
Okay. Through whose blood do these ethnic Gentiles get saved from destruction?
Through Christ.
Okay, so Christ died for these non-Israelites.
See, I can't really say that.
Okay, wait a minute. They're getting saved.
Matter of fact, I can't really say that. I'll take that back.
Okay,
he died for Israel. He died for Israel. With the Bible says.
How do people get saved? Through which man? Through you or me or Christ?
Through Christ.
Okay, and there will be Gentiles, ethnic Gentiles, who do get saved. Yes.
Yes.
Through who?
I would say, yeah, for the world, but
through who?
But these
Ahmad, through who?
Through Christ.
Okay, through Christ. What did Christ do?
But they not who Paul is talking about. That's what I'm saying.
Ahmad, 1 second. What did Christ do in order for people to get saved?
He died.
Okay, so that
means
he
died for Israel.
Right, but do you understand the conundrum you're in? If there are people who are getting saved and you can only get saved through Christ, that means whoever's getting saved has to be getting saved through Christ.
But our salvation is different than theirs, man. Ours is just like we went through more than they did as a group. We agree on that though. That's what's crazy is that we agree on that.
Brother, I mean, I think I made my point pretty clear. Deacon, you want to say something?
No, we love you, brother, and
God bless you.
Well, you can come back on if we got time after a little bit of this presentation.
All
right, bet. Okay, we got one more, brother. Chucktown's finest.
What's going on? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, what's good?
All right, shalom. How's everything?
Not too bad. You got a question or comment or smoke?
Yeah, I wanted to get your insight on
pages. He's flipping the hell out them pages.
Oh yeah, y'all can hear that?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear that. I hear you sweating. I can hear
mic
you
is really good.
You hear the sweat dripping on the page.
I can hear the sweat dripping on them pages.
No. I'm kind of like an old school cat, man. I know y'all depend upon those I guess computers and looking at. I like to look at the Bible literally. Like I don't like to look at like a computer screen and whatnot. I go straight to the Bible. I think the 1611 basically It's for you to read like that. I don't think it's like you can't get the real interpretation by just looking at a computer screen. You're not going to get it. I don't think it's come your way.
Well, I don't want to. I have to answer this, and I'm going to try my best to be nice. Nadab posted Romans 11 and 12 in the AMP. It says, now if Israel's transgression means riches for the world, and their failure means riches for the Gentiles, how much more will their fulfillment and reinstatement be?
You just cut yourself.
No, he just cut himself, but I want to highlight to everybody that this is a fundamental flaw of in the lack of comprehension from most of One West. And I never, for the record, I never said or will say anything like that. The there here that's being reinstated is not the Gentiles, because he said, what are the Gentiles being reinstated to, brother? The there here is Israel being reinstated from their fall. All right, so just slow down and read it properly. Maybe your kindergarten can help you. Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Chuck. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Can y'all tell me what Deuteronomy 32 and 21 means?
Provoke them to jealousy.
Yeah.
What's God? We're reading about it in Romans chapter 11.
So we're reading about that in Romans chapter 11, right?
Yes.
So all of that, what we're covering, basically all in Romans, dealing with what is mentioned in
That's what Paul is
32,
drawing
21.
from. Yeah, that's what Paul is drawing from. Deuteronomy 32 and
21.
All
right. So now my Bible 1611 takes me to Romans. If I go and look at that, right? My Bible takes me to Romans 10 and 9. You know what that is? So we can go to that, right? If you
confess with your heart that Jesus is Lord, you shall be saved.
No.
Or is
Romans 10 and 9.
Yeah, read Romans 10 and 9. I quoted it, brother. If thou shalt confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord, and shalt believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you shall be saved. That's Romans 10 and 9. Maybe you're 10 and 19.
No, 10 and 9. 10 and 9. Thou shalt confess with
Romans 10 and 19 is what you're looking for, brother.
No, well,
it is.
No,
that is what's being quoted in Deuteronomy 32. Or sorry,
no. It's actually from there. It's actually there. If you go on there and you read the precept, you read all of that and then work all the way down to Romans 10 and 20. And basically that's when you see the same precept. But Isaiah is very bold, and said, I found them that sought me not. I was made manifest unto them that asked not after me. Like if you read the whole thing and you work down to there, you would see on 19 it says, but I say that but not Israel know. First Moses says, I will provoke you to jealousy by them there are no people, and by a foolish nation I will anger you. From there you see that precept which ties to Deuteronomy 32 and 21. You see that, right?
Yeah. So who is that nation that's being used to provoke Israel jealousy?
We're gonna get to that. Let's go. You see, but Isaiah is very bold, and he said, I found in them that sought me not. I was made manifest unto them that asked not after me. You see the precept that's over there?
Isaiah 59 or something like that?
No.
Can you get to the point, please, brother? No disrespect.
Oh, okay. All right. No disrespect taken.
Okay.
It's Isaiah. 65. It's Isaiah 65:21. You see that?
Yeah.
65 and 1.
Okay.
And what and if you're looking at if you're looking at the top, right? If you're looking at Isaiah 65:1 and you look at the captions right above there, it says number 1 is calling of the Gentiles. We're still talking about Gentiles, right?
We are.
All right, cool. All right. And it says, I am sought of them that ask not for me. I am found of them that sought me not. I said, behold me, unto a nation that is not called by my name. So we're still talking about Gentiles. This is still about Gentiles, right?
What, Isaiah 65?
Yeah.
What, verse
65
1?
and 1. Yep.
Yeah.
Line
What's the
upon
point?
line,
I understand,
precept
but
upon precept.
I
Here a
understand.
little, there a little.
I understand, brother. Can you're doing a lot of reading, and that's fine. But what is your point that you're trying to prove?
Okay. All right. So we still talking about Gentiles, right?
We are.
And basically Deuteronomy also mentioned basically to provoke Israel to jealousy, right? By them that are not a people, right?
Yes. So who are
All
those
right,
people?
cool. That's cool. That's what we're gonna go with that. That's a precept that's right there. It says Romans 9,
Okay,
25, 20, 24, 25,
brother.
and
I got you.
26.
But can you answer the question? Because now it's just like you're going on to a little bit of a
Oh,
rant.
no.
Get to
See,
your point.
line upon line, precept upon precept.
You've
Here
gone
a
more
little,
than
there a
this.
little.
Yeah, you've gone more than precept upon precept. This is like the 6th one you've read. So could you just prove your point, please?
Oh man, yeah. See, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is when you're reading.
Right. So
1611 tells you
can you?
everything what you need
I
to know.
understand. So
Okay,
can you?
here's what we're gonna do.
Let's just read Romans 11.
There's other people, and we also get a so Romans 11 and 14. If by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. Who are the Gentiles in Romans 11?
Northern Kingdom.
Northern
Okay.
Kingdom.
So when Paul says in Romans chapter 9, I wish that would be a curse from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh. Who are his kinsmen according to the flesh?
So if why y'all jumping, man? Why y'all jumping this?
Okay,
Why y'all are running? Why you running?
Bro, he let you just read a few verses.
Okay.
So entertain him.
But
5 seconds.
But I didn't finish though. I didn't finish. See,
Bro,
if we go all the way, we know what this whole section is talking about.
Let's try to have a
we know what all this is talking about.
The point is here, let's just expedite this. In Romans 9 and 4, it says, who are Israelites? According to the flesh, who are Israelites? Who are the Israelites here that Paul is saying that are according to his flesh?
Say it again.
Who are the Israelites in Romans 9 that he says are according to his flesh?
Israel.
All of them?
We didn't get there yet. See, y'all escaping, y'all running away, and the precepts is telling you what you need to know.
It's either yes or no.
Yeah, nay, what?
Why y'all? Just answer the question.
If you believe in Christ, yay or nay. In Romans 9, when he says, who are Israelites according to the flesh, to whom pertain the adoption, the covenants, the giving of the law, is that all 12 tribes right there?
That's Israel. That's Israel.
Okay,
all 12 tribes.
But are we trying to find out who's Israel? Or are we trying to find out who are the Gentiles? That's the question. Are you trying to find out who's Israel, or are you trying to find out who the Gentiles?
The reason why you're not understanding is because you keep talking, bro. You got to listen. Here's the point, King. In Romans chapter 9, Paul identifies those who are his flesh as Israelites. Now, the question is that the northern kingdom or the southern kingdom or both?
The Israelites.
Okay, all of them, right?
No, I didn't say all.
Okay, so
I said they're Israelites.
The glory and the adoption and the giving of the law. Who is the law given to? Some of the Israelites or all of them?
It depends.
What?
It depends. It depends on the. Huh?
Yeah,
you got what?
No,
you got what?
I'm done having this conversation with you, brother. Go ahead, Deacon. You got it.
No, we're done. All right, this is probably Ronan. Next caller, is this Ronan?
No. This is just I just had a question how you would respond to this type of verse. Deuteronomy 28:68. That's a curse is put on Israelites. And since the heathen nations can obviously partake, your stance the heathen nations can partake in those in this blessing that the Israelites get. Why weren't the heathens put on ships? How would you respond to that?
Well, one, I would say that there's a possibility that there were Gentiles that were put on ships. When you look at the transatlantic slave trade, there was a multiplicity of different tribes and ethnic groups that were put on
Hello?
ships. So were the
Wait,
majority
you
of the
can't. I
people
don't know if he can hear you.
here?
You can't hear Hassad speaking.
No.
Oh my
So he can't hear you, but he can hear me. But
All right.
Hassad is saying, well, this is just a fact. You ever heard of the king that got sent back to Africa when he got wrapped up in the slave trade? I forgot his name.
I'm listening. I
He
don't
was a
know.
Muslim. He was like a Muslim king.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but the fact that what was your original question?
Yeah, it was how would you respond to Deuteronomy 28:68? Those are curses put on the Israelites. And I'm assuming that a heathen nation throughout that time period will obviously believe a stranger, or a heathen obviously will believe with those Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
Why weren't they?
Who said they weren't?
Right, that's the thing.
No, I'm not. No, that's not the point. I'm just trying to say why. The question is why didn't they go through the slave ships like us? How would you respond to that?
Well, I would.
That's just like a genuine
He
question.
can't
Can you
hear
still
you.
not hear me? He still can't hear me?
Oh
Yo.
yeah, I can't hear Hassan. I
Yeah, he
can't
can't
hear
hear
you.
you. The question is that prove that they didn't. Because we can see throughout the Bible when heathens are in our land and the Persians come against us. And let's start with the mixed multitude. The mixed multitude was getting chased down just like we were getting chased down by Pharaoh and his army. Then let's go to Babylon. Our servants in Babylon, they went into slavery with us and they came back with us. When you look at Ezra chapter 2. So they may not last. They may not last and be cyclical, like how the curses follow us. But if they're amongst us, then they could suffer from some of the curses.
Okay, I got you. I think. All right, no problem. I appreciate that.
No problem.
All right.
All right. Okay. All right. So where we at? Let's get back on this. Let's get back. Okay. So I skipped a slide. Why does it feel like I need to zoom out some? Okay. All right. So we're still on Romans 11 and 12. The verse makes zero sense if you're going to try to say that those Gentiles are Israelites. It creates this contradiction. Israel gets blessed by Israel's downfall, and then Israel surpasses the blessing Israel got from Israel's own downfall. Are you guys confused? You should be, because that's how one Wester would read this. Romans 11 and 12. Now, if the fall of them are the Israelites, be the riches of the world, that's more Israelites, and the diminishing of them, the Israelites, be the riches of the Gentiles, those are Israelites, how much more those are Israelites, fullness. That's the contradiction it creates. Israel gets blessed by Israel's own downfall, and then Israel surpasses the blessing Israel got from Israel's own fall. The passage collapses into meaningless repetition if everyone is Israel. Romans 11 only makes sense if them equal Israel who stumbled, world and Gentiles equals actual Gentiles. Their fullness is Israel restored. Two different groups must be involved or Paul's logic completely falls apart. And that's just is what it is, family. So then when we were trying to get our brother to read here, somebody else could have came on and helped him, is Romans 11 and 14. Why is he saying he's provoking them of his flesh? There's some who's of his flesh, and then there's some who is not of his flesh. Right? We got somebody said zoom in. Hold on. How we looking? Let me know let me check it on my phone.
Looks fine to me. I guess maybe you could zoom in a little bit.
Okay, let me see. Let me try to zoom in a little bit. All right, looks good. Does it look the same? All right. Romans 11:14 says, if by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. Somebody in the chat said my flesh means circumcision. So when he says I'm going to save some of them who are circumcised in the penis, or are you saying that my flesh just means circumcision?
So when your child is 7 days old and not 8 days old, he's not your flesh. Your son, your biological son is. Just stop, man. Just stop. Stop lying. Just admit that we were wrong, and then let's do better.
That's it. So Paul says he hopes to provoke to emulation them which are my flesh. That means the group he wants to provoke is ethnic Israelites, his own bloodline. If the Gentiles in this chapter were also Israelites, then Paul wouldn't be contrasting them at all, because they too would be his flesh. His whole argument only works if the Gentiles are a different people, proving Paul juxtaposing Israel and actual nations, not Israel and Israel, because an Israelite who's not circumcised is still of your flesh. An Israelite foreigner is still of your flesh. A Northern Kingdom Israelite is still of your flesh. How do we know this? Because Paul already said all 12 tribes were of his flesh in Romans 9:3-4. My brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites. He wants to provoke them who are not of his flesh. That's plain. Romans 11:18. Romans 11:18. Somebody says, if God is saving Gentiles, that's a non-Jew, then that means Edomites can get saved. Well, sir, I think the Apostle Paul knew more than you and knows more than you and did more than you and is a better man than you all around. One of the great apostles. And he extended salvation to an Edomite. That proves that you have a 40-year-old doctrine and you don't know what you're talking about, and you need to repent. And your elders had a white man on at the school calling him Cornelius.
Rocky Stone.
Rocky Stone. You, my friend, are a pipsqueak. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. So Romans 11:18. Boast not against the branches. Besides, you want to do with this? I feel like I've been.
That's fine. I'll let you cook a little longer if you want.
Boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. Do you guys want me to read that slowly? Because they're saying both the wild branch and the cultivated branches are of the same stock. This is what they're saying. That means they're both Israelites. They're one race. They share the same bragging rights. They share the same boasting right. This is okay. Let's keep going. Romans 11:18 only makes sense if Gentiles are not Israelites. Why? Because Paul says, boast not against the branches, because the Gentiles he's addressing do not share the same root. They're literally from a whole different olive tree. We're going to get there in a second. This is destruction. Because I do destruction. I'm way worse. So these Gentiles he's addressing do not share the same root. They're cut out of a whole other tree, but One West Israelites are saying they're branches that was broke off of this tree. I just want you guys to hear that. One West Israelites, this small group of people in the world of 8 billion people, they say that these branches were broke off from this tree and they're just going back in the tree they were broken off from. But Paul says, no, these branches are from a whole other wild olive tree, wild by nature, two different trees, not branches that were broke off from one tree getting grafted back into it.
Yeah, exactly. What does it mean by nature? There's a bunch of questions. That's one that immediately comes to mind. What does it mean that these are Gentiles by nature? Well, man, I can't even. Okay, watch this. Are you black by nature or is it unnatural? Are you naturally black or unnaturally black? You just are or you're not, bro. That's how it works. So either you're a Gentile naturally or I guess unnaturally. But Paul says naturally. He said by nature. Your nature is what? You are your ethnicity. You are a Gentile or you are an Israelite. Number one. Number two, here's what else is very interesting. Because what brothers will say is they'll say this is the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever because Paul has a direct audience that he's speaking to in Rome. And we teach and we still believe that the northern kingdom is here in the United States of America and in South America. And they got there hundreds of years before Paul said that. So that's something to take into consideration. And three, if these are just Jews, are the Jews in Jewry? Okay, but none of us are in Jewry right now. So that means that means that natural branches are completely gone. There's no such thing as a natural branch anymore.
No, watch this. The Precept Sword Man. Click the link one more time. I want to try out this new dunk on you real quick. I want to try this new heel hook. One of these new moves I've been learning in Taekwondo. I want to try this new move and see if it works.
Yeah, and Sky Pablo, you hit the link too, brother. I see you have a bunch
He's
of questions.
not. No, they've been asking him to click the link for 20 minutes.
Damn.
Let's not beg moderators. Let's not beg people to click the link. Just ask them a few times. If they don't, then we understand
that they don't wear the pants in their house.
Kind of clothes? I was just about to say. We understand what kind of garments they're wearing at home. Okay, so Ahmad, now you made a statement and said that these branches, these wild branches, why are they wild branches?
Because of uncircumcision
of the flesh and the penis,
and because they're not keeping the law. They don't have to adhere to the law.
Okay, so the wild
righteousness without the law.
So is Paul a natural branch or an unnatural branch?
He's a natural branch because he's a Jew.
So that means he keeps the law.
Yeah.
But you don't.
I mean, nah. He 1 Corinthians 9, I think 20 something. He does it when he's around the Jews to win them over, but when he's not around the Jews, he don't.
So which branch is he?
I'm saying he was born a Jew.
I didn't ask you what you're saying. I'm asking you which branch is he, a natural or unnatural branch?
I guess he's a natural branch. I don't know. He didn't adhere to he
all right, bro.
He talked down about this time as a Jew.
Okay, so basically
in Philippians 3 and then Galatians, I think 2.
Okay, and so 1. By your own admission, you don't know what kind of branch Paul was, but what does a wild branch have to do to be a cultivated branch?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay. A cultivated branch is what the cultivated branch is the natural branch. What is it? Explain what the natural branch is. Why is it called a natural branch?
Because it's natural, I guess.
Okay. But
so what is you trying to say? They
what's natural about no, I'm saying why is the juxtaposition? If they're all Israelites, why are some called natural branches and the other called wild branches?
Because they wasn't adhering to the law, so they would call them the wild. But could I ask a question?
Yeah, but I'm not done, and I'll let you ask the last question. So the natural branches are keeping the law, but then the wild branches are not keeping the law.
Yeah.
So if the natural branch doesn't keep the law, does he become the wild branch?
Yes.
Then why does Paul say he still identifies them as natural branches. He says they were broken off because of unbelief, but they're still natural branches.
Yeah,
He doesn't
because they
say,
didn't believe, they didn't have faith. They tried to seek it through the law.
yeah, but they're still natural branches. He says you guys are still natural branches, even in your wickedness and unbelief. With your ideology and logic, then they would become wild branches. And then the wild branches would become natural branches if they did keep the law.
This is why he says in that context, all Israel will be saved. Just like in Romans 9, when he quotes Isaiah crieth of Israel. You feel me? It's talking about Israel, bro.
Okay, but according to your logic, a wild branch will become a natural branch if they keep the law. That's what you're saying, because you said natural branches, they're keeping the law, and the wild branches are not keeping the law.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means a wild branch who keeps the law is no longer a wild branch.
Nah.
She doesn't, brother. Yeah.
Hey, yo, let me ask you a question though. Is
Go
he
ahead,
talking
brother.
about let me ask a question, please. In Romans 9, is he talking about the same people? Because this is the same quote. He quotes Hosea when he's talking about the Gentiles, and then he says, even Isaiah cries concerning Israel afterwards.
Okay.
And Peter, he says he opens up his letter with the stranger scattered abroad, but he still quotes that same thing in Isaiah.
Yeah. Wait, Hosea.
I mean,
Right.
in Hosea
So
about
I'll
not a
explain.
people.
Yeah,
That's low on me.
Mhm.
That's low on me. That's the branches.
You are not my people. So what Paul is doing is drawing from the principle that we see in Hosea 1, that there will be people who are not his people that would then in the future be joined to his people and called his people. The same thing
So
Peter does.
so Peter's
But
doing the
notice
same
both.
thing.
No,
But
they're
Peter
both.
says he's talking
I
to the scattered
understand.
abroad.
I understand. So they're not contradicting each other. They're both drawing from something that has not yet taken place and applying it to
And
their
making it
future.
mean something
One
that the
moment,
prophet didn't make it mean.
brother.
All right, go ahead.
By your own admission, you literally said I don't know, and we're discombobulated like a minute and a half ago. So just relax, please. So what they're both doing is drawing a principle from the same text and applying it to their respective audiences. Peter is the apostle to the circumcision, so he's applying that to his audience. Notice this is important. Hosea 1 and 10 has not taken place yet. When it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, and then you read in verse 11, it talks about then shall the northern and southern kingdom walk together into Israel, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. That's the point, is that hasn't taken place yet. So they're not saying that that scripture is being fulfilled. What they're doing is drawing principles from it and applying it to their audience. In the same way that there are Gentiles who are not referred to as God's people, who then can become God's people, there are Israelites who are casted out and no longer God's people, who will then become God's people again. That's all they're doing. They're not contradicting each other.
So
It'd be
they're
like,
going to
for
be
example,
joint. They're going to be joint heirs.
Yes,
Because
no
that's who
problem.
Paul is
Yes,
talking about.
yes,
Joint
yes,
heirs.
yes, he says. Yes, he does. For example, let's say Scottie Pippen threw an alley-oop to, one second. I'll give you an example. Let's say Scottie Pippen threw an alley-oop to Michael Jordan and he dunked it for the game winner. And I said Scottie Pippen threw a game-winning pass, and you said Michael Jordan scored a game-winning point. Are we contradicting each other?
No.
Right. We're both seeing the same thing and implying it in different ways. That's all.
Okay, let's get back to the president. Hey, at least Ahmad. Although you had a short circuit in your Neuralink in your at least you got the balls to come on here. We appreciate you. Shalom.
Yeah,
brother.
I'm saying I'll be kind of nervous because y'all be, you know what I mean? Y'all don't be humble enough, man. Y'all be acting like y'all know everything, man.
Brother, I just said we love you. We just said we love you and appreciate you coming on, brother. And we're hearing you out. So all praises.
All right, all praises. Shalom.
Okay, so Hassad, I'll finish this slide and then we don't have to go through the whole thing about Romans 11. Actually, it's not that long. It's not that long. Let's see. You guys are doing good in the chat, man. You guys doing good in the chat. Look at this. Dude. Look at this. Dude.
You guys want to say the slave master so bad. I'll be honest with you, bro. You can get mad as you want. You might look like you might descend from a slave master, my boy.
I dare you to take a DNA test.
Yeah.
Your great grandmother was getting ravished by a Spaniard.
Okay. Okie dokie.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm not upset, but I'm just being real. You shoot shit like this at me, I'm way worse. So come on here with your DNA results. We want to see them. Anyway,
I'll show mine, nigga. All
right.
So don't call me a hypocrite.
We got a whole listen. It's crazy. I have a whole black family, 12 people, multiple black wives, beautiful children. Just got a dog. Don't work for the white.
Why'd you say a dog like that? Well, because it was
Hey,
a pit bull that made
don't
you
work.
black.
Don't work for the white man. Don't answer to the white man. And you want to say I'm with individuals who would not even let you. When I go outside, I'm with individuals who won't let you even say that to me. Like, that's the type of individuals I be around, and who don't even care about the Bible, who I'm trying to shine this light to. So to say we're doing this because of some white person that we like or want to save is just ridiculous, brother. Anyway, Romans 11 and 18 only makes sense if the Gentiles are not Israelites. Paul says, boast not against the branches, because the Gentiles he's addressing do not share the same root. How are we saying, or used to say, or you guys still say, that these branches go back to the root when Paul says the root does they don't bear the root? This is what somebody has to answer. Why don't they bear the root? You understand? All right, let's get one more person. Carlos, what's up, brother?
Shalom.
What's going on?
I just have one question. It's not about the Gentile salvation, but I do agree with you guys. So it's not about that. It was a question that me and my wife was wondering. Who do you give to, according to a couple of scriptures that I've been running across, like for example, Ecclesiasticus, where it talks about don't give to sinners, and then you have other verses.
Are you crumpling up a thing of paper?
Hold on, I'm on my Bluetooth. Let me take it off. 1 second. That better?
Much better.
All right. I was just asking the question. As far as who do you give to? You got verses like Ecclesiasticus, talking about don't give to sinners, and then you get Proverbs, give to your enemy. You got Messiah saying give to your enemy. So I'm just kind of like trying to figure out: do you give to the sinner or do you don't give to the sinner?
Yeah, it's a nuanced position. So what Sirach is giving you wisdom on is if you should principally help someone who's godly, because one, it's a godly person, they deserve it, and two, they'll appreciate it and probably give you something back in return. Whereas an ungodly person probably doesn't deserve it and won't give you anything back in return. And that's not an absolute statement. There's nuanced positions within that. For example, what about if your mother is an atheist and she needs money for surgeries? Well, mom, you're not godly, so you're screwed. No, it's general advice that Sirach is giving you. When you read in Matthew, when he says, if your enemy takes your coat, give him your, I can't remember what he said. If he takes your coat, give him your shirt. Also, this is just, again, these aren't literal things. These are just a principle.
Okay, so how do you know the literal thing? How do you pull from the literal thing?
Right. So you look at the principle. What is he saying? Because what if you live in Hawaii and it doesn't get cold and you don't have a coat, or maybe you don't even wear one? So does that mean it doesn't apply to you? It's saying if someone takes something from you, you can practice kindness and forgiveness. That's all it's saying. None of these things are literal. For example, how we know is, he said, if your enemy smacks your cheek, turn to him the other one also. So what if he smacks your other cheek? You only have two. So now are you good to just beat the hell out of him? No, the principle that he's telling you is to exercise mercy and compassion.
So you exercise mercy and compassion on your enemy?
Yes.
Okay, so that means help the sinner.
It depends on the context.
Okay, so are you basically saying without the context in real life?
Right.
Basically, if I see a homeless person and he's not my brother, let's just say he's another nation.
Yeah.
do you discern? Like Paul, like in Ecclesiastes, he says, "When thou doest good, know
Yeah.
whom thou doest
Know
it."
who you do good. Yeah, that's again. Well,
Right.
first of all, that's Sirach giving his grandson. This is wisdom. This is general wisdom. It's not a divine commandment. But it wouldn't be wrong for you to help that person, but it also wouldn't be wrong for you to not help that person. For example, when we see homeless of our people that ask for money, sometimes, you know, I don't like giving them money sometimes because I don't know if they're gonna go use drugs. So I'll say, hey, brother or sister, hey, look, I'll go get you some food. So that's when you said you got to discern. Discernment is all. It's, you know, it's part of that.
Okay, so there's no. So basically, you're saying that because this is what I was coming up with. I was telling my wife basically it's discernment because so there's no clear cut scripture
Exactly.
telling you to give.
Can you hear me, Deacon? Is that just me or him?
That was him.
Okay. Well, if you
No.
can still hear
The
me, because
verse.
there's
Uh,
people are diverse and their situations are going to be diverse. So, given that, you're going to have to practice some level of nuance with in regards to helping people out because everyone
okay.
has diverse problems.
So what about the you know, because like I said, at first I was you know, just giving to everyone, and then you know I started listening to you know you guys teach, and at one point in time, you know, you guys had a lot of stance on you know only give to your brother,
Yeah.
and then so you know I started looking into that, and then I'm like, okay, but then you got scripture saying you know give to the enemy. And
Yeah.
so I was just kind of confused on, so I came up with just discernment because you got two scriptures, a couple of different scriptures saying the opposite things.
Yeah. Well,
And
I would
so
one
basically,
discernment, but two, you can still help your people first. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's what I would exercise, and that's what every race practices helping their own first, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like
okay,
if you know, let's say I were to come over to your home, if you invited me over for dinner, who's gonna get fed first? Your wife, your children will get fed first. Unless of course you feel like being kind and you know just out of generosity serving me first. But the point is you get what I'm saying.
let the
That
children first be fed.
right, you're gonna help your own first. Yes.
Okay, all right, shalom, appreciate it.
Got you. Shalom.
Okay, you there, Hassad?
Yep.
All right. Zahar, what's up? You're live. Is this the
Yo,
Zahar that posted this? Hassad, I think that are you the guy who posted the source that actually cut the hell out of you?
wait, how does that source cut me? It literally that no no
Oh,
no
Bro,
that
ring ding
source
ding ding.
that
no,
source says
I
this.
want everybody to see this. No,
You hear
let's
me?
put that source up.
Oh,
No,
we hear you loud and clear, buddy. Just
Wait,
stay
how
no,
does
right where
that
you
source
are.
cut me?
Just stay where you are. Get you some snacks.
let's go. Let's get that source. So our brother over here says that in Leviticus 19 and 34, when it says, love the stranger as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Yeah.
That's talking about another Israelite, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you posted,
Contextually, it would have to.
do you see that? So why would he even mention? So let me ask you this.
Because
Do you have that was a Jewish source. That was a Jewish source.
well, sure,
And it was a modern source. I have an ancient Hebrew Israelite source proving you wrong. So you're going to take, let's say your source is right, which is not. I'm going to show you that. But let's say your source is right. This white Jewish man from the 1900s. Do you take his word over ancient Israelites that were in the land like Philo and Josephus?
I'll take his word.
Wait, what?
Because that would be the right contextual
Oh my
understanding.
God.
No,
Hey,
did not do that.
No,
It
and
would
we're
be
the
the
sellouts.
right
Wait.
contextual understanding of that.
We
They are not
the
wrong on
sellouts.
that.
We are the sellouts when you will take the man's word who stole your ethnicity and identity
Wait, I don't
rather than ancient Hebrew Israelites.
I don't
who
teach
were
against
in the land.
Gentile salvation though. I don't think y'all would sell us.
Okay, so just real quick, I want to get to the source. I think that's probably
Go
the
ahead.
most
Give me a
important
second.
thing.
Give me a second.
But before we do, how were Israelites strangers in the land of Egypt?
Because we weren't like native born to the land.
It's
You
not
know?
our lands,
Yeah.
right? And we're amongst a foreign people.
Yeah.
So
They would
how
be
would a stranger
we
be
would
a
be
stranger
foreign to
amongst
them.
Israel?
We would have been foreign to those foreign Israelites. And
No,
it
but we're
wasn't
not.
they
But
weren't native born to the land.
it's still their land, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So if
no, it's
what?
not. It
Okay,
is in a
a
sense.
Japanese
It is in
American,
a sense as
a
a
Japanese American, is their homeland? Do they have a right to say Japan is my land? That's my homeland.
No, not
What?
necessarily. Yes and no.
No, bro. It's just like you gotta stop, bro. Seriously. You're
No,
just
but
trying to.
what?
At this point, you're just trying to
Okay,
win an
no,
argument.
because you would be superimposing that
This is just ridiculous,
interpretation.
bro. You're
It is
telling me
not
someone who's
ridiculous to
Japanese,
say that.
someone who's
A
Japanese,
Japanese person born in America has the right to say Japan is not their land, but they can
is
claim it.
Israel your homeland?
Yes, I claim it.
Have you ever been there before?
No,
Has your parents ever been there before?
no.
Your great grandparents, they've ever been there before?
Yeah, from
Yeah, well, way hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And yet you have a right to say that's still your land. Why? Because that is your ancestral homeland.
just
An Israelite
because
that
that
leaves
just because that
Israel
verse
no
says
longer
your
no longer
land.
get to say that they're, oh wow, this is just a totally, wow, look at this place, this is totally strange. No, because how we know this is the example that it gives with Egypt. You just admitted some truth. Love you therefore the stranger. Why? For you, it's giving a one-for-one example. For you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Yes, but if you see how
Egypt,
that's written, it's explaining the reason why
exactly.
you shouldn't like tell this person, oh, you're not native born here, blah blah blah. You shouldn't, you know what I mean? It's explaining why, because you were like, you know, the feeling of
How do
how
you
that was.
how does God tell us what a stranger is in Leviticus 19 and verse 34? What analogy does he use?
I mean, he explains that we were strangers in Egypt.
Okay,
That's
when
what
we
he
were
was.
strangers in Egypt, how
But
were
he's
we strangers?
it wasn't our land, and we were foreign to the customs, etc.
Okay, so if an Israelite that's born in Bangladesh, is their land still Israel?
No, there. Well, yes and no. Like their
Uh,
land would be Israel according to their nation, but it's still like not their native born land. Even when it says your land, like you're trying to make it seem like it's just opposing who the land is completely for compared to the foreigner. It could be what you're saying, but from my understanding, it is not the way you're explaining that.
well, yeah, I know.
I don't disagree with Gentile salvation. I just disagree that the foreigners right here are
Okay,
non-Israelites.
Did
send me
God
your.
already tell us in Leviticus
But
19
I
to love our fellow Israelites
Wait,
in
hold
verse
on,
17?
Hassad. Hold on, real quick, real quick. I'm going to. Can you put your source in the back chat so we can show you and everyone else that your source agrees with us? Not to hell with us. Your source agrees with the Bible. Can you put it in the back chat?
let's see. Hopefully, I didn't go off of it.
So you're telling me that your source 42518. Yes, I have
Let's see.
apologized. How many more times do you want me to apologize? I'm not
Uh,
no I'm not no
I put it in the
custer.
back chat, but I did come on the live, not for
Okay, now, but
1934.
all right, so I want you guys to see this. He's saying that this source says that the strangers in Leviticus 19 are actually Israelites.
Wait, let me see. Yeah, that should be
Don't try to you don't try to So this is the source you posted to say that the strangers in Leviticus 19 are actually Israelites. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I want to appreciate you. I thank you for this source. I'll add it to my slide because it definitely proves my point. Okay, look at this. The acceptance of the convert based on Leviticus 19. So, first of all, the title destroys you because why is he called an Israelite stranger is not necessarily a convert. He could be an Israelite keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments outside of the land and
Well,
just
the
coming
way
in.
they interpret it, that's how they're describing it.
Okay, so the header disagrees with you. So it says in Leviticus 19, we come upon a series of laws that were given to help us become a holy nation. He believes that he's Jewish. He quotes Leviticus 19, 33 to 34. This is the verse in question. We read here 2 laws concerning how we treat the ger. And you're gonna tell me that he's gonna tell us that the ger is actually an Israelite. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something, brother. Be honest. I'm not gonna laugh at you. I'm gonna just give you. This is gonna be a teaching moment because it happened to me before. Did you ask ChatGPT to give you a source saying that the
Nah,
strange? Okay, because sometimes ChatGPT will
I'm in
get
like
you
a Discord with
a lot of Israelites. So some fake
people who
Israelite.
are not that, but a lot of
Okay.
people who are becoming biblical scholars and stuff.
Oh my goodness, bro! Getting the Genesis Varsity Online Academy, specializing in Hebrew apologetics.
I'm gonna join, you know what I mean? Not to necessarily join Genesis or anything. I just want to
The
see every
varsity is open
interpret,
for everybody,
every
right?
understanding.
So it says, it's going to tell us who the Gur is, according to him, this scholar. I don't know if he's a scholar, but if he's have this work, he could be a scholar. Who is defined as a stranger, a sojourner, resident alien, or a convert. The first law states that we must not maltreat the Gur. The second law says that we must love the Gur as ourselves. What do these two laws mean? In order to interpret the meaning of these laws, we look beyond Torah, which is the fundamental framework that provide. So you do know he goes into the Talmud to prove this case, right? You're okay with the Talmud?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're okay with them putting their mouth on the babies? Okay.
Come on, bro.
You
Really?
can go to 4. Go to point 4. I think
Point 4?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. The Torah says, like the native born among you, you shall he be born you among you, shall he be to you, the sojourner that sojourns with you, be loving to him as one like yourself, for sojourners were with you in the land of Egypt. This is similar to when the Torah says to an Israelite,
Exactly.
but be loving to your neighbor. And so
that
that's
means
what
they're
we
saying that Leviticus 19 and 17 is to a fellow Israelite, but verse 34 is not.
Right. And I said that in the presentation. I said the reason we know we have to love a stranger like we love ourselves is because it already told you 16 verses earlier to love a fellow Israelite, period. That's your neighbor, whether he's a stranger or not. So I appreciate the source I'll add it to my you want a donation? I'll even send you a
Wait.
donation
Okay.
for giving me that source.
Thanks.
If you literally keep reading, he literally is not talking about an actual Gentile.
Hey man,
Okay,
listen,
can you
bro.
explain point 4? What does he mean?
I didn't come here to talk about that, but
Oh,
he's
you
not
went in.
talking.
You went in on me. His side. He went in on me in the
No,
comments.
you were going in on me. You were talking about blocking me. I wouldn't even, you know what I mean?
I said,
didn't
give me
even do.
one source or I'm gonna block you because I'm tired of going back and forth.
All right.
He posted this source inside and it was like,
I'm not even a scoffer. I believe in Gentile salvation.
no,
I
you
don't think
said
that
I act like I know everything like somebody's old ass uncle.
you is the old head.
This is what he tried to come for me. You know, so that's why I had to. It's all good though. Thank you for the source. I appreciate you.
All right, but can you explain verse point 4 though, brother? Why does it say that? Why does it say specifically verse 17 or 18 rather is to the Israelite? Why doesn't it say verse 34 is to the Israelite?
I don't think that was necessarily a typo, but in this source, it was kind of like a typo right there.
Oh, now it's a typo,
bro. Who sent you?
Come on, man. The Jewish community.
The Jewish community.
It's a typo.
Yeah.
Man, you come straight out of a comment.
All right, what's your question?
Wait, Hassad, I was talking to you on Instagram. You didn't reply back.
He ran.
But
everybody's saying Hassad ran. It's crazy.
But
what? Are they really saying that?
In Leviticus 25 and 45, well, from my understanding, you believe that we must like go to war with our enemies, etc. Our Gentile enemies, correct?
Deuteronomy 20?
I mean, that's what Deacon said.
Hell yeah, those are Gentiles.
Okay, so you also taught that Leviticus 25 and 44 through 46 only applies to enemy Gentiles, correct?
Those are hostile nations specifically, yeah.
Okay. And you would agree that our enemy Gentiles wouldn't have inheritance or live with us in the land of Israel, correct?
No. What do you mean they wouldn't live with us?
So in Leviticus 25 and 44, it says the
bondmen or bondmaids which you shall have shall be of the heathen. Run about.
Well, the ones that are staying with you in the land, it says.
Yeah.
And the children they begot in the land. So that would be kind of weird if the enemies are in our land staying with us. So how would you reconcile that?
I'm not understanding what I'm supposed to reconcile.
Like put
How
Leviticus.
are enemies with
You
us
could
in
put it
our
on the
land?
screen, like Leviticus 25 and 45.
Yeah,
Because
let me put it up.
what I'm saying is that you guys teach that it's only pertaining to enemy
I
Gentiles.
didn't say that. I never said that.
You did tell me that, Deacon.
I didn't say that. We okay.
Well, if it's not pertaining to enemy
Specifically,
Gentiles,
hold on.
it's
Before I
only to
even
enemy
pull it up,
Gentiles.
before
So
I even pull it up, before I even read the verse, I'm gonna tell you our conversation. I said those that are round about, and then also a Gentile that's living amongst us who is not trying to convert or proselytize in our ways. Those you can enslave because that's what verse 45 says. Look,
those will be our enemies.
no, they wouldn't necessarily be our enemies in the sense of hostile, but they're unbelievers. They're like atheists living in our land, not trying to worship our God. Let me just read it. So it says, your male and female slaves shall come from the nations that are around about you. Them you can buy as slaves. This is the NIV, but every translation is okay. You may also buy some of the temporary residents living among you and members of their clans born in your country, and they will become your property. Why? For one, it tells you temporary residents. What does that mean? They don't have any interest in cleaving to us permanently and permanently worshiping our God. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
If not, give me an antithetical.
I mean, nothing's wrong with what you're saying, but that would be kind of you don't think that would be kind of like,
I'm simply
I
reading
wouldn't
it.
say weird for, like, for instance, say they begot children and their children just have no choice but to forever and ever be slaves now because their parents were atheists staying in our land. You know what I mean?
Well, they don't. It's not. We have a choice to also not enslave these
I'm
people too. And if they
what I'm
convert,
saying is like,
Hey, can you hear Hassad?
nah.
no. What about right now? Yo.
Wow. Wait, so you couldn't hear Hassad this whole time?
No, he heard me
No, I
earlier.
could, but not now. I can't.
I mean, I cut his head off so this nigga can't even hear no more. I'm playing. I'm playing.
He said he cut your head and ears off. You can't even hear. So Hassad, I'll try to relay what you're saying. Hassad is saying that we also have the option to not enslave them. But what's your point? When you're reading this text and you're reconciling it with love the stranger by as yourself, is that what you're doing? You're trying to reconcile them both? Are you saying that it doesn't make any sense if this is saying that and the other is saying this? So that would
Well,
have to make
from what you told me and what I read, what you told me it was only referring to enemy Gentiles. That's what you told me.
we
And
read verse 45 together, sir. I remember
yes,
exactly
we
what
just now read 45 together. We didn't do that in the past.
Yes, we did. Go look it up. Go look up our last conversation when you came up on here and say we didn't read verse 45.
We read it, but we didn't read it in the context we're reading it in now, bro.
Okay.
Come on.
What's your next question, brother?
So we can enslave non-enemy Gentiles, according to you, right? Who are just non-believers.
You can enslave Gentiles who do not want to proselytize and convert and worship your God and be like one that is native in Israel, according to Torah. Yes.
Okay. That's it. That's all I had to ask.
All praises. All right. So let's try to get Hassad back on. And I take a look at the comments. No nation has interest in Yasharallah. Okay, William. That's not true, brother. That's not true. Are you saying there has been no Gentile that was for Israel? Like the real Israel? Man. That's not true. There was the Roman centurion that actually built a synagogue for the Israelites. How many of you guys know King Agrippa I? King Agrippa I stopped Gaius the emperor from setting up the statue of Jupiter in the Holy Temple. Hassad, somebody had the nerve to ask us, do we still wear fringes? You can only be saved by keeping the laws of God. You can only get salvation by keeping the laws of God. So you answer that question. We want to be saved. So what do you think we're doing to get salvation?
No, we're dashikis now.
All right. I'm saying that Psalms 83, they're all against us. He must have came in late.
Yeah, brother. First of all, every Gentile nation is not mentioned in Psalm 83. So if your logic is they're mentioned in Psalm 83, that means there are enemies. That means if they're not mentioned, then they are not our enemies. So that means there's a bunch of Gentiles who are not your enemies. Number one. Number two, it doesn't say every individual Gentile from that nation is our enemy. It just doesn't say that. You're adding that to the text.
Where are your two followers? Is it just you? We're a two-man army. No, I'm joking. We have a congregation, the Genesis congregation. That's what TGC is. You want to join? Hit the email and really learn and get up out of that coffin that you're in. Ruth wasn't against us. She was a Moabite, correct?
Yep.
And we can go on and on and on and on and on. Okay, so let's try to finish the last couple of things of this presentation. Okay, so as we were stating, Romans 11, when he says, boast not against the natural branches, for the root bears you, you don't bear the root. You don't go back to the root. Paul says, boast not against the branches because the Gentiles he's addressing do not share the same root and cannot boast on equal terms with Israel. If both groups were Israel, then they would have the same covenant rights, meaning they could boast equally. Why would Paul tell a Israelite scattered or Northern Kingdom, because that's what they're saying this is, which I thought the Northern Kingdom was supposed to be in America at this time. That's bugged out. But why would a Northern Kingdom not have the same boasting rights as the Southern Kingdom? The same covenant rights. Paul's warning only works if the branches are ethnic Israel and the ones warned are Gentiles. It only works. Hassan, look who found our chat. The guy who thinks he's Jesus Christ.
No.
Lord.
Block him. Warrior woman.
We're not going to block him. He said, you just lied on Leviticus 25 and 45. Why can't I be misunderstood? Why does it have to be a lie? Matter of fact, you break it down. You can come on here and break it down, or you can break it down in the chat. Yeah, okay, so Brother William, you're moving the goalpost now. So you do concede, though, that all nations are not in Psalms 83, right? You do concede that you lost that one. And then we can address First Maccabees 2 and 10. But first, you got to concede you lost that one. Or you said you were the Holy Spirit. Or, no, you know what? I don't know if you said that. So what are you saying, Tyrone? Because if you're not the same guy we used to know from Mississippi, then that guy said he was Jesus Christ. We don't want anybody who thinks they're Jesus Christ in here. Okay, only he can open the 7 seals.
Oh my God, man. Of
That
course,
is
a
you.
nigga named Tyrone from Mississippi. You cannot make it up, bro. Is he Tyrone from Mississippi?
Mm-hmm. There's no Edomites in our congregation. It's not about Edomites. It's about join. Somebody said we're not dropping the link for somebody who thinks they're Jesus Christ. Ain't no way. All right, so if both, let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next slide. Romans 11 and 18. Look at the comparative translation. Thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. The grafted in wild branches do not support the root, but the natural branches do. Why? Somebody in the chat tell me why. If these are Israelites, why don't they bear the root? Somebody explain why. I want to hear this. Thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. Why don't they bear the root, but the natural? Why? Can somebody answer this? JDP, I never said Esau was not Caucasian. I said it's not about Edomite. You're saying can Edomites join? You should be asking, can Gentiles in general join? You're so fixated on the white man that you gotta kiss his boots when you're late for your rent or you're about to get fired from your job. We're talking about Gentiles in general, brother. He says, it doesn't say temporary residents in Hebrew. It says those who dwell with you. Nowhere does it say they are non-believers. Gentiles can't.
Why don't you just click the link then, bro, and prove what's wrong?
Okay, so how about this? If you enslave a stranger, a non-Israelite, forever and rule over them with rigor, is that you loving them like you love yourself? Watch how we got to walk him down via chat because he won't click the link.
Okay, we can block Mississippi.
Tyrone.
Yeah.
Okay, block Tyrone, the one who says he can only, and you guys know what he's going to do. He's going to make 25 different pages.
Yeah, if you can open the 7 seals, provide the power to not have us block you on this chat.
I know why do we have so many people in here? Right, Israelite camp killer, Israelite only camp killer. Can anyone who disagrees hit the link? I don't see anybody saying this is getting way too messy right now. All you guys have something to say, and some of it is not. I'm not saying you guys are being disrespectful. I'm saying if you got a lot to say, then come on here and have the conversation. I want to answer the question about fellow heirs. You said fellow heirs. Fellow heirs does not mean they get equal. You're supposed to be a fellow heir with Christ. You don't get everything Christ get, but you get something in the will. That's very simple. You're like the 2700th person who asked that question. It's not new. It's not a great revelation. You also said, somebody else said that, can Donald Trump convert and join? Ask me a question about the Bible.
See, but now it's like, okay, can Diddy repent and join your congregation?
Yeah, good question. Can Diddy join your congregation?
Can Diddy and R. Kelly hold posts next to you?
What else? There was another question on here. There was another question.
A servant is not a fellow heir, though, brother. We're servants to Christ according to the whole New Testament, but specifically Revelation 22. But it also says we're joint heirs with him.
Yes, you get an inheritance, but you don't get an equal inheritance. Just like in the law, Deuteronomy 21 and 15. If you have a wife who you love, a wife who you hate, you still got to give the greater inheritance to that son, but they all get an inheritance, even though they don't get equal inheritance. Look at this, bro. Look at this, Hassan. He says, where does it say we have to love Gentile non-Israelites as ourselves? You're making that up.
We just literally read it, bro.
No. He might have just got in here. So let's show him. Let's show him this. Leviticus 19.
Before we read it too, we're not saying we need to love every Gentile. We're not saying we love our slave masters. We're not saying we love Dylan Storm Roof before people start saying that.
No, the context tells you which Gentiles to love. Leviticus 19, because I know they like the KJV. So we'll read it in the KJV. Leviticus 19 and 33. And if a stranger sojourn with you in your land, you shall not vex him. But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. Now, who wants to bet $1 million that that he's going to say that stranger is an Israelite, but he won't be able to provide one source, ancient, medieval, or modern. Nashawn, you're live. What's up?
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, I just want to ask about Romans 9.
Okay.
Romans 9 is what I wanted to ask about. Because it actually, I actually just want to hear you. I just want to hear what you think about it. Just, yeah. Well, you just actually just your opinion. Like, 'cause it says, because Romans 9, you go to Galatians chapter 4, it says that Ishmael is not a child of God. And going deeper further in this, yeah, I'm gonna just read it. I'm gonna just read it and give a full out breakdown. I'm gonna start from verse 7. Can I do that real quick?
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
All right. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children. That's it. No. I want to stop it right there. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children. Because Abraham had many kids. He had one child by Hagar, the Egyptian handmaid. He had one child by Sarah, his free wife. And he had 6 children by the concubine Keturah, which I want to deal with them too. It says in Genesis chapter 25, verse 5, it says, and Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. But unto the sons of the concubines, which is Keturah's kids, if you read verse 1 through verse 4, which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts and sent them away from his son Isaac, from Isaac his son, while he yet lived eastward into the east country. So you see right here the separation in it. They were his kids, they were his seed, but like the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 6 has said, it says, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children. Which is why right here you see that he has 6 children by the concubine Keturah, but not exactly he, but yeah, he sent them away from Isaac while he yet lived. Pay attention to the separation in it. He sent them away from Isaac. He gave them gifts, but he sent them away from Isaac.
Yeah, King. What's your point, King? I think I know what your point is, but could you because I want to give other people an opportunity to speak as well. Is there a specific point you wanted to prove, or what?
I mean, yeah. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm gonna read verse 7 again. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. Because remember in Genesis chapter 21, when Isaac was weaned and a great feast was made for him, Sarah, she saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian handmaid, Ishmael, mocking Isaac. And she said, look, the son of the bondwoman should not be heard with my son, so send them away. But it was grievous in Abraham's. Abraham's son. I had to trust like this secrecy. It was grievous in Abraham's sight, but God had told Abraham, no, don't let it be grievous in thy sight. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called. And what does it mean to be called? Okay. Because you read further down in this Romans chapter 9, this is going to tell you, it's going to further go into things.
So,
it's going to tell you what being called is.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, brother. Romans 9 is detailing God's chosen line that went through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then go through Abraham, Ishmael, and his children, or Abraham, Isaac, and Esau, and went through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God has a chosen people that's still the ethnic Israelites. But however, Paul doesn't stop there. He continues in his letter to the Romans to let you know that Gentiles who join to the people of Israel can also be saved as well. There's no contradiction between Romans 9 or 11.
Okay, let's read Romans 7 chapter verse 17.
Romans 7 and 17.
Romans 9:17, 9:17. For the
Okay.
scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
Okay.
For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up. Okay, so you got what was the history behind that? The Israelites, they were slaves in Egypt. Egypt was one of the powerhouse kingdoms back in the day, one of the biggest kingdoms, one of the most powerful kingdoms of the ancient world. And Pharaoh was the king of Egypt. That's what Pharaoh is. The Pharaoh is king of Egypt. And pretty much,
Okay.
everybody who knew that the Israelites was in slavery over there in Egypt, they was like, the children of Israel, they never coming up, they never defeating Pharaoh. They never coming up from under Pharaoh.
Yeah,
they never
I got
defeating
you.
him. They
Yeah.
never defeating him. But for the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for the same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. How did he show his power in him? He did the 10 plagues. The last plague being that he's killed all the firstborn sons of the land of Egypt.
My brother,
all the way until Pharaoh
brother
had.
Deshaun. Yep. Okay. I try. Listen, y'all can't get mad at us for that one.
Okay. So all right. So there's nobody in here who is willing to click the link. It's just a lot of emotional. Everybody's emotional. You know why? Because I posted this on Priest Genesis mode. So we got a lot of emotional individuals in here saying, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. Just read the Bible, read the verses, and then either the Most High is going to bring you back to the truth or not. Here's what I do know, because everybody's saying, oh, after all these years, that means you guys are one Westers. You guys are what we would consider camps. You guys were what we consider. Somebody said, let him finish. Bro, listen, let him join your channel. I don't know what he was talking about, where he was going. We've been on for 2.5 hours. Let him join your channel. Now, anyway, so people who are in here with these emotional comments, that means you guys use the name Yahweh Shai. You guys use the name Yahweh. You guys use the 12 tribes chart. So here's what I'm here to tell you. Everybody who uses the 12 tribes chart and Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and you wear your fringes, that you go back to One West. And the founders of One West taught Gentile salvation. So you have to say all of that. Oh, the elders of One West must have found out they were heathens. Oh, the elders of One West must have had a white friend. Oh, the elders of One West must have a white girlfriend. You got to say that about your foundation. All of you guys have to say that about your foundation because your foundation actually taught Gentile salvation. So you really would have to call us the true One West. You understand? Damien, how do you feel about even Edomites? Nobody was calling Caucasians Edomites until One West. Although I agree with that, I do. But how do you guys feel about, you wouldn't even know who the Edomites was if it wasn't for Abba Bivens and High Priest Ariah. And guess what? They taught Gentile salvation. So my question is how do you guys feel about your foundation teaching Gentile salvation? And would you like me to show it to you?
One West does teach Gentile salvation, but they are talking about natural Gentiles. Edom was once Hebrew, but he was cut off as a nation. I don't know what that means to be. You don't cease being a Hebrew. Hebrew means you descend from Eber. They descend from Eber. They don't stop doing that. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, my brother.
144 Israel says 61 views is crazy. Well, that's on
something right now.
Yeah, that's on Priest Genesis mode. We let Priest Genesis mode die out. We don't really care about that channel like that due to some of the teachings on that channel. But come over to the new channel, bro. There's a few hundred people in here, and
it's 61. It's 61 more views than you could ever have. How about that?
Hey, listen, not to brag, this new channel TGC, I gotta appreciate you guys. 500, 500,000 views in like a month or so is a blessing. We do appreciate you guys. All praises. All right, let's see. You switched up for money.
Unsubscribe. Just unsubscribe for the channel. God bless you. Unsubscribe or
No,
keep
listen, no, let's say this for the people who don't know the One West camps.
Yeah.
To y'all who just found TGC and you see us teach Gentile salvation, these Negroes at One West really believe some trillionaire Gentile knocked on my door and said, hey, teach Gentiles can be saved. Here's one elder said I got $10 million. $10 million to say Gentiles can be saved.
Do you think we'd be arguing with you niggas on the internet? If I had $10 million, I would tell you right now what I would do with $10 million. Man, I'm not going to be in this country anymore.
You will not see me on YouTube. Okay, Darren, what's up, brother? You're live.
Oh, what's up, brother? I had messaged you yesterday asking you about the fringes, man. That was me.
What about
Facebook?
Oh, no. Okay. You wanted to get some tassels.
Yeah. But I'm on here just to send y'all some love. I'm riding with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just anybody got a problem with y'all, got a problem with me. I'm only sending some love, man. That's all I wanted to say.
Man, we appreciate you, brother. Hey, and we send it back to you and your family. All praise to the Most High.
Yes, sir. All praises.
All praises. Okay, so we got another brother in the back chat. All right, go ahead, brother. What's going on? You're live.
Oh, what's up, Deacon? Yeah, Ross Gwandi, guys. What's up? What's up, Shalom, brothers? Hey, real quick, to you both, you Deacon and Asad, just off the bat, I've been in the truth for a minute, and I know that I normally don't like the answer, but I saw that y'all went live, and I had a couple questions for the both of y'all, because Deacon, I still love bumping your shit, and Hassad, I've always watched you because I've always liked the way you handle your street teaching, right? So I know now you guys are talking about Gentile salvation, right? Now, is that salvation is it the same salvation that we get as Israel, or is there going to be a hierarchy within the Gentile servitude in the kingdom? Like an example, the Gentile, here's the street teaching, the covenant might have not been with them, but you know how people do believe in the God of the Bible, but now they're like, oh my God, this is what sin is. I have to keep the commandments.
Mm-hmm.
So that Gentile that keeps the commandments, are they going to be in the same servitude as the Gentile that doesn't keep the commandments?
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to answer
that their salvation?
Okay, I'm going to answer your questions in reverse. So I'll just start with the last question you asked me. Will the Gentile who keeps the commandments be in the same level of servitude as the Gentile who doesn't? Absolutely not. What we see, for example, in Isaiah chapter 14 is it says, the Lord have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. And the strangers shall be joined with them. There's going to be strangers who, in the NLT, it says, there will be many Gentiles who will unite with the people of Israel and will there serve them in the lands, in their lands. So there's going to be Gentiles who are united with us, who will then be in our lands and will, in a certain respect, serve us. Now, does that mean that they're going to be having shackles and across their feet and whatever around chains around their neck? Certainly not, because, for example, to be a servant doesn't necessarily mean doesn't indicate bondage. For example, in Revelation,
right.
In Revelation 22, it says that we are servants to Christ. Does that mean that Christ is putting us in slavery? Or does that just mean that we're going to have to listen to him as our leader? Does that mean we're going to have to obey the decrees that he gives us? So in the same way, the Gentiles who are united with us, they'll serve in that respect. But then it goes on to say, this is how this answers your question, that Jacob will take those captive whose captives they were, and they will rule over their oppressors. So there's two groups of Gentiles, those who unite with us, and they will be treated far more, they'll be saved. They'll be united with us. They're our allies. And there are those who are not our allies, and they are the ones who will go into slavery. So now you asked in the beginning, so is it like two different types of salvations? No, it's not two different types of salvation. It's all the same salvation, but the conditions are different. And a perfect example of that is in Exodus 14, the very first time Israel ever received salvation is when Moses parted the Red Sea. And he said, stand back and see the salvation of the Lord our God. And then, of course, Moses splits the Red Sea and we walk through it. Now, Gentiles walked through the Red Sea with us, right?
Yeah, there were, yes. Yeah, there were, in fact, there were Gentiles that walked out of Egypt with us. But
right. So just real quick, just walk with me, brother. 1 second. Just keep walking with me. So Gentiles, they literally received the same salvation that we got in the Red Sea, right?
Yes, they got freedom from Egypt, yes.
So they got the same exact salvation that we got. Now, when we got to the wilderness and then ultimately got to the lands, were they on the same level as us within our nation?
I would say no, they weren't. However, it goes back to when you read Leviticus, and it talked about the stranger that sojourned in our land, and if they keep, that they're going to be brothers, that we have to treat them as if they are one of us, right?
Yes. Well, not.
I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm paraphrasing, right? Mm-hmm. I guess in a way, because we're taught that all the nations had us oppressed, so that would mean that all nations would be the oppressor in that sense, because that's kind of what we're taught. But then when you look at Leviticus, this is a period of time before Joshua took over land, before there was land for a stranger to sojourn within us. So I guess in that sense, when you brought that scripture out, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, but that was before the land was there. So the Most High was already setting the boundaries of, like, when you get your land, you have strangers in your land, but if they come and they keep my commandments. Let me ask you this real quick, aside on that note. Does that mean now the Gentile can partake in the Passover?
Yes, they can, and we're going to do a breakdown on that soon. But before
is that because they are commandment keepers?
Well, that's what it says. It says in Exodus 12, around 48. It says, and if the ger would keep the Passover, let all his males be circumcised. So if they want to, meaning they want to serve God, here's what they have to do. They have to be circumcised and they have to join to your people, and then they can come and eat this Passover. That's what Exodus 12 is detailing. But one thing I wanted to make mention of, I wanted to kind of respond to something you said. So when you reference Leviticus 19, how we are commanded to love the stranger as ourselves, I agree. Gentiles who come amongst us, we have to treat them amicably, and not just amicably, we have to treat them like we would treat another fellow Israelite. Now, does that mean that does that mean that they're within our territory, there are not certain things that they are not able to do? There clearly are. For example, if the United States of America said the president and his cabinet, meaning like the Secretary of State, Vice President, Minister of Defense, whatever, they have to be all white. And the senators and the members of the Supreme Court, they also have to be all white. Would you say that that's racist, or that's in favor of the white race?
Yeah, no, I would say it's in favor of the white race. I don't think that's racist, because I'm a racist because I'm in favor of my
I got you. So just keep walking with me. In Israel, the king of Israel has to be of what race?
Israel.
Okay. The Levites have to be, not only that to be the race of Israel, but they have to be from a particular clan, right?
Yes, they have. Yes.
The judges have to be of what race?
Now that one I actually don't know, because there were different judges. I mean, Samson was a judge.
Yeah, but he's an Israelite. All the judges that we've ever had were Israelites. So the point that I'm getting at is, whilst we treat them brotherly and kindly when they're in our lands, and that's not going to be null and void, we are still the people who rule over our land. So there's not equality in that sense.
Okay, so let me ask you this real quick then, as we're talking. Does that mean that if I can still give that particular Gentile an animal that dies of itself?
No, you cannot. Those who sojourn amongst you and are keeping Torah, no, you can't give them an animal that dies of itself.
Okay, and I guess the catalyst, the thing that kicks in, is the fact that they're keeping Torah. But what do you? Okay, so what do you say to the brothers out there? Because I've been in the truth for a minute. What do you say to the brothers out there that would claim that, remember, the covenant was only given, like when we go into Romans 9, right? The covenant was only given to Israel, the promises and everything. And I'm with you. I'm walking with you on the fact that I understand. The reason why I understand the hierarchy is because I know a Gentile who is a commandment keeper. And he asked me one time, this is what he said to me. He goes, I don't care if I'm the servant scraping gum off of the sidewalks in the kingdom. I want to be a part of the kingdom, right? And I said, but that's the difference. I go, your servant, the servant, I go, I know some brothers teach, I'm going to put you in whips and chains, and they're going to probably be some Gentiles that's going to be their fate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was trying to explain to him, like, I go, it's kind of like this, your servitude is like you love the master. It's kind of like if you look at Wakanda and those that serve the king, they love serving the king. And that's the kind of servitude that you would have in the kingdom. As at least I think that's what you guys are saying too,
well, it's
right?
not, but yeah, well, the relationship between believing Gentiles who are joined to the people of Israel, and the people of Israel is not that of a slave and its master. It's pretty clear what we see within the framework of the New Testament, and even certain passages in the Old Testament. It says they're brothers and sisters, so they're not relegated to the position of just being a slave. Now, are they, because they're from not, they're from a distinct ethnic group and they're not your people, are there certain rights and privileges that they don't get? Certainly, absolutely. Just like I wouldn't expect to go to Japan and be able to run to be the emperor of Japan. I'm not Japanese. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't be treated fairly when I go to Japan. In the same way, Gentiles who are united with us, while there are certain things that they're not able to do, they're still able to live amongst us, and they're not just, put down as you're just a slave that needs to love its master. But to address, Romans 9.
But Hassan, I will have to say this, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to push against you or nothing, right? But Hassan, but remember, there comes a point to where the Gentiles are going to be forced. I think it's is it Revelations 2 or Revelation 5?
There's a big distinction that maybe this will help. When we see passages, for example, in Jeremiah 30 or Isaiah chapter 60, and it references the nations that will not serve you will be destroyed, or it mentions all your adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. Those are not the same people as the ones who have cleaved to Israel, who have joined to the people of Israel.
Okay, yeah, I
those
agree
are
with
not.
that.
Those
I
are not
agree with
our.
that. I see
right.
it.
So there's a difference in relationship and treatment between Gentiles who join to us and those who do not.
Because the Gentile that joins, they're going to have a different mindset, because now they're in the mindset of one God, one faith, one culture, and they're keeping the same culture. I guess I'm kind of seeing where you guys are kind of landing in that. Here, let me ask you this question too, with that on that
That's
same
fine.
premise.
Go ahead.
Okay, now you say that in that sense, but now we've got to go and discuss Edom.
Okay.
Because there is no salvation or repentance for Edom, right?
No, there is.
Okay, so you're gonna have to please show that to me, because I've been taught differently. So
I understand.
please show that to
I understand. So I can give you a micro. I'll give you a microwave version, and then
we got time to pull up the slide.
Okay,
There's nobody else waiting.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
There's nobody else waiting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take up nobody else's time.
It's fine.
You know what I mean? But I'm not. I'm one of the educated ones, and I'm just gonna let you guys teach. Because listen, I've been in the truth for a minute, but I really do want to understand where you guys coming from, because I know a few Gentiles that heard me speak, saw the way I lived my life. They were Christians, and they said, you know what? I'm done. No more pagan holidays. They wear their fringes. You know what I mean? So it made me question at one point, and for me, it made me go, okay, why is it that why do they have that spirit where they're like, I want to keep Yahweh's commandments, right? And so when you guys came out with that, that's why I'm talking to you now.
Right, and your question is how can they be saved in light of what?
Well, because we are taught, and the Torah teaches us, that the covenant is for us, and that the Christ died for us. We are the light to the nations, because in the end, all nations are going to have to keep the culture.
Torah teaches, you just said the Torah teaches Christ died only for Israel.
Well, doesn't Acts 5:30 tell us that Jesus died, died for the forgiveness of Israel?
Right,
okay,
but it doesn't.
Yeah. Okay.
You're
right.
It doesn't say only Israel.
Well, we read that in Isaiah 53. We read in Isaiah 53, fellas. We know that in Isaiah 53 that we're reading that the Christ, Yahweh did die for the nation of Israel.
Okay, two things.
He didn't die for the Gentile nation.
Okay, well, let's examine. See, the Isaiah 53 is not going to contradict what the apostles themselves received and what they taught. I think we can agree to that.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
all
no, the
this,
word never contradicts.
right?
There's
So
never a
all of this is going to
contradiction.
have to be cohesive.
Wait, do you want to start? Where do you want to start at, brother? You want to start with the
Edom
Torah?
or
You
Isaiah
want to start with
53?
the prophets? You want to start with the Messiah? You want to start with the apostles?
No, let's make this. I want us to walk the path together. So let's just start. You guys pick, and let's just walk the path together.
Okay. So let's start with Deuteronomy 29, and then we'll go to the prophets, then we'll go to the Messiah, then we'll go to the apostles.
Okay, good. That works.
Okay. So let's
I got
pull
it.
this. You got it? You can start. I'll pull it up on the screen.
Deuteronomy chapter 29 and verse 10. So I'll just read verse 1 for some context. It says, "These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, beside," or other versions will say, "in addition to, the covenant which he made with them in Horeb," or Sinai. So this is in addition to the covenant made with us on Mount Sinai, which is the old covenant.
Okay, I agree. That's what the word says. Yeah.
Okay. So now when we go to verse 10, it says, "You stand this day, all of you, before the Lord your God." So who stands before the Lord our God is going to tell us. The captains of your tribes, the captains of Israel stands before God. The elders of Israel stand before God. Your officers stand before God, and all the men of Israel stand before God. This would be like your regular male citizen. Your little ones, your Israelite children, your wives, Israelite wives, and thy stranger that is in thy camp, from the hewer of your wood to the drawer of your water. Do we agree that this stranger right here is not an Israelite?
Yes, and I will tell you why I think that just from reading that.
Okay, but
you're in Leviticus, right? You're in Leviticus 29, though, right?
Yeah, but real quick.
No, we're not going to derail it. You're in Leviticus 29. Real quick. The only reason why I believe that is because
it's Deuteronomy 29, bro.
Yeah.
Then Deuteronomy. You're in Deuteronomy 29, which is before Joshua took over land. So yes, that's why I believe it's a stranger outside of Israel. There you go.
These are not Israelites.
Because it was before Joshua.
Okay, I agree. And we agree that these strangers, as well as all the other Israelites, are standing before God, right?
Yes.
Okay. It says that thou should enter into covenant with the Lord your God and into his oath, which he makes with you this day, that he may establish you today for a people unto himself, and that he may be unto you a God, as he has said unto you, and as he has sworn unto your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God made the old covenant with the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's clear. But then it goes on in verse 14. "Neither with you only do I make this covenant and this oath, but with him that standeth here with us this day before the Lord our God." We just established that the strangers, they entered into that covenant then, right?
You mean the additional covenant?
Well, this is in addition to, it's a same thing, but just in addition to the old covenant. So this is still part of the old covenant.
Yeah, because those that's a tough one, man, because of the doctrine that I've been learned. But I can't deny what the scripture says in that sense, because I understand that these strangers are before the nation, before the land was. So I know these are not Israelites, and I know these are those that saw the works of God with Israel and decided to follow our God. So
the point is, King, they entered into the old covenant with us. This is clear. It's what the Bible says. So what does this illustrate? That Gentiles have always, since the moment we came out of ancient Egypt, been amongst us and been able to not only just live amongst us, but join to the Lord's people and in worship with him. Sorry, in worship.
So you believe they were in the temples then?
One moment.
You believe they were in the temples and sacrificing as well?
Well, yes, they're allowed to bring an animal to the temple to sacrifice it. They are.
I guess that you're right. I think that's in Isaiah 14.
Let's just slowly walk through this. So what does this indicate in Deuteronomy 29? That Gentiles have always been able to be join the Israelites in worship of God, and vicariously through Israel, who are the covenant bearers, they get to attach themselves to us and join that same covenant that was made with our ancestors. They don't become Israelites, but they are joined to the Israelites in worship of our God. So this precedent is already set in stone right here in Deuteronomy chapter 29.
Now let's go from the Torah to the prophecies.
Yes.
Let's go to Zechariah 2, or you want to go to Isaiah 56?
Well, let's just go to Zechariah 2.
You know what? Let me grab my Bible. I hope I can. Can you guys hear me still?
Yes.
Okay, good. That means I can get to my.
We're gonna walk. We're gonna walk with you. We're gonna work with you. These comments are so crazy. Ross, can you still hear us?
Just let them. It's who cares. Yo, Deacon, can you hear me?
I hear you, but we don't hear you no more. We don't hear the brother.
Oh, okay. What's his name? Roz, right? What's his name?
Yeah, Roz. There we go. We hear you now.
Yeah.
Did you click
I'm
out?
back. Okay.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah,
click out?
I was trying to bring up my Bible to read with y'all, but it didn't work.
Yeah, it ain't gonna let you click out of StreamYard.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. We're good.
Well, you can rewind it. It's Isaiah 56. Go ahead. Where you want to start at, Hassad?
Verse 1. It says, "Thus says the Lord." This is the Lord speaking. "Keep judgment and do justice." Why, God? Why should we keep judgment and do justice? Meaning do what's right. "For my salvation is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed." God's telling people to do what's right. Why is he telling people to do what's right? Because salvation's coming. Verse 2, "Blessed is the man that doeth this." In the Septuagint, it'll say the anthropos, meaning the human being. Blessed is the human being that doeth this. It doesn't say blessed is the Israelite. It says blessed is the human that does this. It doesn't distinguish whether it's a Jew or a Gentile, because it doesn't matter, because that's not what this is about. It's about if a human being does this. Blessed is the human being, the man that doeth this. And you got to move that out of the screen. Deacon, I can't see it. And the Son of Man, I think it goes on to say, the Son of Man that laid hold on it. Again, the Son of Man also means this is just a human being. Doesn't specify whether Israelite or not, because it doesn't matter. Blessed is the man that doeth this, and the Son of Man that layeth hold on it. That does what? That keeps the Sabbath from polluting it, and keeps his hand from doing evil. What is evil? Sin. So that keeps Torah. "Neither let the son of the stranger." Now watch this. Before let me slow down. What is the blessing prior to the Messiah coming back that you will receive when he comes back for keeping Torah?
What was that question again?
What is the blessing we receive when Christ comes back for keeping Torah?
To be in the kingdom. He tells us that we'll be great within the kingdom.
To be saved.
That will be the blessing. Huh?
To be saved.
Yes,
that's salvation. How you get to the kingdom.
Yeah, we'll be saved from our enemies. We'll be saved from our enemies and the hand of all that hate us.
Right. So the blessing is salvation. That's why verse 1 says, "My salvation is near to come." Blessed is the man that doeth this. What's the blessing you get is salvation. And then it goes on to say in verse 3, "Neither let the son of the stranger that hath joined himself to the Lord." Ben Nakar. This is never, ever used for an Israelite, ever. The Ben Nakar, Ben means son, Nakar means heathen. "Neither let the son of a heathen," someone of a foreign nation, not an Israelite, say, that had joined himself to the Lord, speak, saying, "The Lord hath utterly separated me from his people." "Neither let the eunuch say, Behold, I am a dry tree." God is saying, don't let Gentiles say, "God separated me from his people." Like I can have no part, I can't participate in this. Why? Why does God say, don't let them say this? Verse 4, "For thus says the Lord," now he's expounding, "unto the eunuchs that keep my Sabbaths and choose the things that please me and take hold of my covenant." For the eunuchs that do the right thing and they keep Torah, what do they get? Verse 5, "Unto them I will give in my house and within my walls a place and a name better than of sons and of daughters." Their reward when salvation takes place is they get a name because they're eunuchs. They don't have children. So they get a name. I was going to
say, yeah, because they're eunuchs.
Right.
That's what I was going to say.
They get a name that brings them more joy than the joy children would bring you. It says, "I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off." Now remember, this is the blessing that they get in the day of salvation. So God is giving them an admonishment. He's telling you guys, he's telling us, do what's right because salvation is going to happen. And when you do what's right, this is what you're going to get when salvation takes place. A name better than sons and daughters, right? That's for the eunuchs. Verse 6 says, "Now for the sons of the stranger," because he already told you what the blessing for the eunuch was. Now he's telling you the blessing for the sons of the stranger. "Also the sons of the stranger that join themselves to the Lord to serve him and to love the name of the Lord, to be his servants." So now Gentiles can serve God. They can love God, worship God. "Everyone that keeps the Sabbath from polluting it and takes hold of my covenant." even them, even these Gentiles, will I bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. And they go, you got to keep showing. I can't see it again, but I think it goes on to say, make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon my altar, for my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people. This is what Gentiles get when we get to the kingdom. This is what they're going to have. This is what they need to, that's telling you what they need to do prior to the kingdom in order that when salvation takes place, they can receive this blessing. How we know that, furthermore, is in verse 8, which says, the Lord God, which gathers the outcasts of Israel, says, yet will I gather others to him. He's gathering the Israelites, but he's gathering others. Anything outside of an Israelite is a non-Israelite. So he's gathering the Israelites and he's gathering others besides those that are gathered unto him. Now, here's the question.
Wait, he fell off. He fell off. Are you back on?
Yeah, I think I'm back on.
Dang, you got a bad connection though.
Okay, there it's fixed.
Okay, there we go.
So,
yeah, we're good.
Now, who's going to gather the Israelites in the day of salvation?
Wait, because I got cut off. There was when we were. Assad, I'm so sorry, brother, but we got cut off because whatever was going on with my phone. I had a question. You were talking about the eunuchs before when we were going through the scriptures on the eunuchs. My question: are those eunuchs Israelites or Gentiles?
It doesn't specify.
It doesn't specify. So we know that at one point the scripture was telling us about the stranger and that they can keep that, but the eunuchs and their name that's going to be exalted doesn't specify if that's the Gentile or the stranger. So I'm going to have to assume that the reason why their names are being exalted because they have no sons is because they are Israelites only due to the law that deals with men that don't have children.
I mean, that's an insertion, but to be honest with you, it doesn't even matter because the sons of the stranger are clearly not Israelites. So even if you wanted to say the eunuchs are, it doesn't matter. The point is still proven. Is he gone again?
No,
I'm here.
Okay. So now verse 8
No, I'm here. Okay. Okay, go on now. I just wanted to make sure on what you were saying, brother. Let's keep on walking.
So then in verse 6, it says, the sons of the stranger that love the Lord, they dedicate themselves to the Lord, they love the name of the Lord, they keep the Sabbath from polluting it, that God will bring them to his temple and make them joyful in his house of prayer, for his house of prayer shall be called a house for all nations. And then the point is, in verse 8, it says, the Lord God which gathereth the outcasts of Israel says, yet will I gather others to him. God's going to gather people outside of Israel to him for worship. If you're anything other than an Israelite, you're a Gentile. And God is going to gather others. Now, here's the question. When does Israel get gathered?
I would believe that it's happening now, which we consider the last days. So we're being gathered now.
Well, who gathers us? Who's the gatherer? Who's the gatherer that's going to gather all the Israelites?
Oh, that's a good question, Assad. I'm going to say I am going to answer with it's got to be the Holy Spirit.
Well, yeah, but there's a man that's going to be doing. Okay, Jeremiah 23.
Hold on, you're right, Assad. You're going to say it's a man. I understand you're going to go there, but that's like you can claim that you're that man. Deacon can claim that.
No.
What's his name?
We're going to the Bible, claim that. No. We're going to the Bible to illustrate who that man is. We see
if we're going to talk about it's Christ, yes. Okay, but that is right. You're right. Yes, because that is what our common foundation is.
Okay. So Christ.
Maybe I misconstrued your question. Okay, so we're in the same vein, brother. Go ahead, keep going.
All right. Christ is the one that's doing the gathering when he returns. If Christ is gathering the Israelites when they return, and it says that God will gather others to him beside those that are gathered unto him, referring to Gentiles, that means that there are going to be Israelites gathered by Christ upon his arrival and Gentiles gathered by Christ upon his arrival for the worship of God. And this chapter details what Gentiles must do in order to receive that blessing, which we just read is salvation. Love the name of the Lord, keep their hand from doing evil. Evil is sin, so they have to keep Torah, keep the Sabbath, etc. What this is showing you is, in the prophets, God is saying Gentiles can be saved. Here's how you guys do it. which is why we see in the New Testament in Acts chapter 15, after James, Jesus Christ's brother, quotes Amos chapter 9, which is about actual Gentiles, then says God's name is on the remnant of these Gentiles who leave their people to worship the true God. What do they tell the Gentiles that they have to do? Well, they tell them in verse 20, here are some base laws that you guys need to keep, and get the other ones that you can read about in the synagogues on the Sabbath. Because Isaiah 56 tells you that the Gentiles, what do they need to do to get saved? Keep the Sabbath and keep their hand from doing evil. What is evil? Again, sin. So if you wanted to add anything to that, priest, I've been kind of
so we gave him some Torah, we gave him some prophecy. Now let's give him some of the apostles. Let's give him some apostle work. Which one? You want to try a new dunk? You want to try a new dunk or what, Assad?
No, I don't. I think the brother needs to understand this. So let's just get one that's very clear to the point. Romans 5.
Okay. All right.
And after this too, brother, if you have any questions, you can let us know. And also for you guys in the chat that are disagreeing with us, that's totally fine. You're welcome here. I want you guys to click this link and present your information, because you have to ask yourself this. We are clearly able to prove what we believe. If you're not able to prove what you believe at all in any capacity whatsoever, and you realize that you're not going to click the link because you know that if we ask you certain questions, you don't have certain answers, you have to ask yourself, why do you even believe it in the first place? If your belief is scrutinized with just one or two questions, it's going to crumble. Why would you believe in it? So you should click the link or really question and find out if what you believe is true. Now, back to the brother Raz. This is so we've covered from the Torah, the prophets, the law and the prophets, and now we're to what the apostles said. And the apostle Paul says in Romans chapter 5, verse 12, wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin. That's Adam, right?
That's Adam, right?
And so death passed upon all men. What does that mean, death passed upon all men?
That means no matter what race you're from, you're going to die.
Perfect. We all die because of Adam's sin, right?
That's right. Right.
So that means all men is every race, right?
Yeah, in this sense, yes.
Perfect.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. All right, perfect. Let's just keep going now. It says, scroll down, Deacon. Go to verse 18, the point, please. Now, check this out. It says, therefore, as by the offense of one, judgment came upon all men to condemnation. That's still Adam, right?
Yes, yes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and say what Adam saw. I was kind of reading up. I wanted to make sure I kept it in context. But yeah.
Just contextually, the one man is Adam, the one man that sins.
That is Adam.
Perfect. So that means that all men who are condemned because of Adam is every race. Again, like verse 12, right?
Right.
Even so, meaning just like, correct?
Right.
Even so, by the righteousness of one, the free gift came upon all men unto justification of life. Who's the righteousness?
Okay, so you're saying, wait. So you're saying that right there, because it says that justification came upon all men, that is life. You're saying that's all races that justification came on, because when Adam died, all of us had to suffer from the idea of death, correct?
Right. It says even so. What does that mean, even so? It's even. It's just like. Exactly.
Right.
So Adam's fall. So Adam's fall, whoever it affects, Christ, his righteousness has to affect the same people, correct?
Yeah.
Exactly. So if Adam's fall affects all people, not just Israelites, Christ's righteousness has to also, if it's even so, affect all people, not just Israelites. Or else it's not even.
We already know it's going to, because when Christ comes and reigns the earth, all the races have no choice. They
here's the point, though, King.
Worship the God of Israel, get thrust through, right?
Right. But here's the point, though, King. It says through justification unto life. The free gift. Now, what is the free gift? Let's start there. Christ, the free gift through Christ is what?
I guess I'm going to say salvation.
Well, we have to be, because what does Paul say in Ephesians 2? By grace are you saved through faith, not of yourselves. It is the gift of God.
Right.
It's a gift. Christ died and gave us what? A gift, salvation. So if this gift is not just for Israelites, that means salvation is not only for Israelites. And then it says justification unto life. What life? A temporal life or an eternal life? What type of life did Christ die so that his believers could receive? An eternal
It was
life.
the eternal life, right?
Exactly.
Right.
So
Right.
Paul's clearly, we're not adding anything. We're just letting the text speak for itself. It's quite literally saying all races of people can be saved, not just Israelites.
Real quick, when what you're saying that, I'm gonna tell you what came to my mind. I started thinking about before the flood. Remember, and the reason why I'm saying that because before the flood, the Most High flooded the earth because of the wickedness of man. But if the wickedness of man was the reason why he flooded the earth, that would mean that was because the man was not following his commandments, except for Noah and his family, right? So at one point, even before the flood, it seems like, now that we're kind of thinking about the story, it seems like all of humanity was I don't know if I should say under the requirement, but all of you, there was a common natural God-given law that man wasn't following, to the point where Yahweh was like, you know what, I'm gonna take them all out.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's because remember in Genesis
That's what it
6,
made me think
says,
of when we were reading that.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of. So that I just want to kind of lay that out.
Exactly. What that shows you is this notion and ideology that only Israelites. You ever heard that only Israelites can sin? That doesn't exist in the Bible. What the brother's saying is he's going back to Genesis 6, when God, it says he looked down on the children of men and saw that their deeds were evil, and repented the Lord that he made man, and said he's going to cut off man from the face of the earth because of how evil they are. Well, if they're doing evil, that means there's a standard by which you have to judge that evil. That all human beings are expected. That all human beings are expected to follow, which is why I don't need to keep talking. I think my point.
All right, but the point is this: you agree with the text. That's the point. You do agree with the text.
Do agree with the text.
Okay.
Yeah, I do agree with the text in that sense, and I'm glad that we were able to make that walkthrough. I'm still gonna sit down and do my own thing, but I also know I was never one that was like that, because Yahweh has mercy, and so why would he destroy one who says, you know what, I'm going to kill that old person and I'm going to follow your commandments. I'm going to follow what you laid out. Why wouldn't the Most High destroy that person? So that's kind of where, that was the question I always had, and nobody ever asked that. And our elders tell us, hey, no other nation can sin because the laws were given only to Israel. And sin is breaking God's laws. So, but then again, God's laws are universal for everybody. I mean, they were given to Israel because we're the lead nation, but in the end, because before the flood, all of humanity has fallen. Okay, guys, I guess I don't have no more questions. I'm glad we were able to walk through that. I don't quite know if I'm all the way in where y'all are, but I do understand now where you're coming from.
All right, and as you leave with this: have good faith that the elders, your elders, Abba Bivens, High Priest Ariah, Masha, Yaquab, they all taught Gentile salvation, and we got the proof on the screen and on the PDF. All right, so you just
you guys have been taking a lot of heat for where you guys are, and I don't know. I don't lean on any way. All I'm going to tell you, brothers, is you guys go ahead and continue with what you guys are doing out there. You're going to still get a lot of heat. I don't know if I'm still on the same side with y'all, but thank you for us having that walk, and I appreciate it.
All praise to the Most High. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, we got one more brother on here, unless we get somebody else. Brother Daniel.
Hey, shalom, brothers. How y'all doing today?
Not too bad. How's everything with you?
Favor and flavor. Favor and flavor.
Hey, it's all favor for me, man. Listen, I am so happy for you brothers, man. I've been watching you, Brother Assad, for a minute, and a long time ago, and I actually turned you off, man, because I mean, it was so plain as day that Gentiles could be saved, and it seems like most people who go against it, it seems like they just refuse to see that because of just pure hatred or something like that.
Yes.
I've been in the truth for a minute myself, and never joined any camps, nothing like that. I kind of just study by myself, just bouncing from here to there, just picking up scripture and just trying to pick up the word and learn the word myself. But when I came across you, Brother Assad, I live in North Carolina, so I'll be attending the Passover this weekend. So
all praise to the Most High.
Oh yeah, can't wait to meet you brothers, man. But when I saw you, I was like, you know, this brother, you know, he got a lot to say. He's, you know, really knowledgeable. And then I heard you just blatantly just going against Gentile salvation, and it kind of turned me off.
Now, maybe he's not as smart as he sounds.
Yeah, so I turned you off, and because of the Gentile lady, I came across the channel again, and then I saw you switch your stance, and it brought me back to you guys, and I'm so happy that I did, and it even made me, spend some money with you guys this coming Passover. So
all praise to the Most High.
All praise to the Most High. Can't wait to meet you brothers this Passover, and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the encouragement, brother. All praise.
Yeah, because what it is, it seems like the Most High is kind of using you brothers, because y'all kind of, I don't want to make it sound like this, but you kind of was, part of the way, part of it that led, a lot of the sheep astray. And now you turn around and you be like, you know what? We can't do this no more. And he's using you guys to bring them back. So all praises.
All praise to the Most High.
All
we're
right.
going back to the founders. We're going back to the foundation, man. We're going back to the foundation. Who Israelites believe this man on the screen is John the Baptist in the reincarnation. And he was teaching Gentile salvation. So we going back to the foundation bars. We might have to record that aside. Israelites teach Abba was John.
Yeah, we might have to do that. We might have to. But we appreciate you, brother.
He's off already.
Oh, okay.
Israelites teach he was reincarnation. Hey, Elder Tahar, where you at? Elder Tahar, where you at, man? Elder Tahar, I heard you say that when you came into school in the 80s, they weren't teaching this, but that's a problem, Elder Tahar, because we have.
Yeah, please make a video about this, Elder. Can you please address why did Elder Bivens and his book say all those Gentiles in Romans 11 are actual Gentiles?
And his students in their book, which is 1980 circa. Now, here's where I say Elder Tahar might not be lying, because this book is about 1980 circa. I think Apostle Tahar came in mid-80s, so they could have changed it in the mid-80s. Nevertheless, from the damn 40s to the 80s, they were teaching Gentile salvation, and that is the foundation. So what, did they sell out or something to stop teaching Gentile salvation?
Were they
or
going
did they
off?
sell out before initially to teach Gentile salvation?
Mm-hmm. And do you believe that Bivens is John the Baptist reincarnated? Yes or no? Do you believe Arya and the seven are some of the prophets reincarnated? Yes or no? And understand, yes, this is a trap question, because if you answer yes to any of those questions, you would have to say that the prophets, Elijah being one of the greatest, taught Gentile salvation at one point, whether inadvertently or on purpose. So
we
put that in your pipe in Mount Vernon and smoke it. No, I'm playing.
We got the receipts. Okay. So anyway, y'all, we came on here today to see if there was anybody who wanted to challenge our God, and there was none.
Well, there was a couple, and
well, we didn't really we got some questions, but we didn't get any like, all right, let's do it, let's bang it out. We had some brothers who asked some good questions and had some pushback. That's not necessarily a challenge, but we just was looking to see if somebody wanted to challenge us and our God, and there will never be none. So we're going to go ahead and end this by giving all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father. And we're going to say peace, blessings, and shalom.
Shalom.